Hello, everyone. Pull up a chair and join us in the alcove here with episode 12 of our homebrewed 5th edition D&D campaign, the Chaoslands. As always, we have a handful of quick announcements before we start. We go live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Our WODs are uploaded to YouTube every Friday. We also do reruns on our Twitch channel every Thursday morning and Monday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. Give us a follow down below to get a notification whenever we're about to go live. And do check out some of those reruns because during the stream we're all here playing, so we're not that active in chat, but also sometimes our cameras go weird like that.
We are having internet issues on one person. There we go.
But during the reruns, we are much more active in chat, and we'll be happy to answer any questions and just watch along. Also, while you're checking out the follow button down below, be sure to follow us on all of our social media. Our Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for all the latest news and schedule updates, as well as awesome character art, profiles, other fun things probably coming down the pipeline soon. Just give us follows. Also, even though we won't be using it remotely, I'll still give a quick shout out to Syrinscape, because epic games need epic sound. Syrinscape is a digital tool with a collection of amazing sound sets and music that we use to improve the ambiance of our game and stream. If you're looking for a way to improve the immersion at your RPG table, go check them out at Syrinscape.com.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other announcements? Anything I missed? We're still playing remotely, as you can see.
Are we?
I think we are.
Technically, I showed up to the place.
That's because it's at your place.
But we'll hopefully be getting back to a table soon once things here start to open up a little bit more and schedules start to normalize a little bit more. All right. Guess that's a good place. As good a place as any to start. Good. Previously on the Chaoslands. Our adventurers, returning with Nipnur to the Big One's house in Ward 1 of Schema, had an encounter with the current chief engineer of Schema, the elected leader responsible for guiding the city through these current 4 to 5 years while working on her project to construct a new ward, Ward 8, and establish it as a expansion to the city. Harriet Halfstep, the chief engineer, agreed to work with them on a project to help recover Ward 8 and save some of the people who had been moved there or displaced there, and then ran into some technical difficulties, so to speak. But also to potentially research more into the nature of the lightning rifts that occur around the city of Schema and in the Chaoslands outside, just in general, but more focused around the vicinity of the edge of the city. Agreeing to the terms, the party provided a name for the contract that will be drawn up, and will henceforth be known as the Iron Will.
I still think we should have been called the Soiree. Just throwing that out there.
You never mentioned that.
Because I came up with it after last episode when we mentioned Soiree 40 times.
With the evening drawing late, Harriet Halfstep departed, telling you all to swing by her office in the Prime Conduit Spire tomorrow in order to discuss the partnership further. Some of you decided to turn in for an early night.
The bottom guys.
Especially the big one, who took advantage of being able to spend the night at home in his own workshop and catch up on some conversations with his father. Meanwhile, Kalthir, Astra, and Arkmir went for an evening stroll through the streets of Schema, traveling through Wards 1 and Ward 6, before making her way into Ward 2, a decidedly different and very upscale district of the city. You looked around, and with the help of some guards escorting you to the location, found the restaurant called Sophistication, where Alistair had asked you to come meet up with him. While you didn't find your friend, you were instead graced by Magnifico's Menagerie, a group of traveling performers that Alistair turned out to be a member of. Their leader, Geraldo, introduced himself to you all and provided you with a letter that Alistair had left behind. And you all had a pleasant and jovial, albeit a bit late, evening with the group. However, also present at this restaurant was an elderly gnome woman, and a strange figure lurking in the shadows that seemed to have more than a little bit of interest in Arkmir. And as you left the building to go and sleep in the troops' encampment behind the restaurant, you noticed that you had continuously been under the watchful eye of this figure throughout the rest of the night, and as you approach your long rest.
Oh shit.
So, with Astra having gone into the tent that Alistair has recently vacated, Calthier and Arkmir, you were both outside. When Calthier, you noticed this figure standing by the edge of pretty much around the corner of the rear of the restaurant, just keeping an eye from the shadows.
Akmir, the gnome inside, and the figure that appeared to be with them, uh, it appears that they've been keeping a watchful eye on us through the evening, and even now. And I kind of just gesture with my eyes, like over there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is this something we should be concerned about?
Don't like. I don't. I'm not a fan of people watching us. And you know what? I think I'm gonna approach them. I want to know what this is about.
Well,
um,
do you want to go alone, or do you want me to come over with you?
yeah, we should go together.
Sure.
As
Is
you
Sorry, just a
go
quick
ahead.
question. Are the other folks of like the group of like Geraldo and crew, all of them, are they also like they're all here kind of like sleeping in like this area?
Yeah, they're all over here, like kind of. Some of them are sitting, have gone to their own tents. Some of them are sleeping in wagons.
Okay.
A couple of them are just sleeping outside. They're kind of just setting up to go to sleep.
Okay. All right.
You gather that
Um,
nobody else has noticed this figure, and pretty much the only reason that you noticed is because of your excellent dark vision.
okay. Um, all right. Then as I'm going, I'm just gonna make sure that I'm keeping like an eye back towards just like the Alistair's tent where I think Astra is.
As the two of you begin to walk up to this figure almost immediately turns around and goes back inside the restaurant.
Well, I'll go ahead and follow.
You make your way back through the back rooms, the kitchen, trying to see if you're following this figure. You lose track of them, it seems like.
Sneaky bastard.
All right. Well,
As you arrive back into like the main floor of the restaurant, you notice that the table with the wine glasses and where the gnome was sitting is empty. There's nobody sitting there
um, do I see a waiter or waitress?
anymore. There's probably a couple of people cleaning up at this point. It's pretty late. The entire restaurant is empty. Um, you gather that there's probably a couple of people cleaning up that you can maybe ask, but the wait staff themselves seems to have mostly gone home.
Okay. Um, and Calthier, I assume you're still with me here, or yep.
Unless you'd like me to leave.
uh, strange. Yeah, that does not put me at ease. I think this is someone we'll need to watch out for, especially given what happened back at the the last time I was outside. Someone
Well,
attacked.
normally when we're traveling with the rest, it's a little bit easier to um, have somebody else watch while I'm meditating. This time though, we may need to potentially break it up a bit. Um, Perhaps, if it's all right with you, I could um, begin my meditation now, and then I could take over the watch while you get some rest.
That seems fine to me. I can stay up with the rest of Geraldo's crew, whoever wants to stay awake, but I'll be up.
All right. Right.
So
Make our way back.
Yeah, head back outside.
the two of you make your way back out and begin to set up probably like a small corner near where Alistair's tent is, where Astra's sleeping, probably around that somewhere. You begin to set up your bedrolls or meditation area.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just set up near, kind of like off to the side of Alistair's tent, um, and just pull out the small mat and yeah, sit down, close my eyes, and begin my meditation.
So, Arkmir, as you're keeping watch, I'm assuming for the first 4 hours of the night.
Yeah.
Make a perception check.
Oh, first row.
19. No mods.
Let's go.
Well, you don't see anyone, and the rest of the camp kind of falls into this quiet. You do notice that the fire pit that hadn't been lit prior was lit and is now. There's a nice warmth here in the backyard of the fancy restaurant sophistication, hidden from the rest of the ward and the streets and the city. It doesn't feel like you're in the midst of schema at all, almost. But still, despite the warmth, a few hours in, you feel cold. You feel a strange chill just continuously running down the back of your neck, as though you're being watched.
Uh-oh.
I don't. I'm still just looking around. I don't see anyone.
Don't see
Yes.
anyone.
The dirty gnome lady, she wants the D.
I was gonna put myself like closer to the fire. Just don't know what this feeling is. Do I feel any more warmth as I get closer to the fire, or is it just overwhelming me with the chill?
It's a strange sensation. As you hold your hands up to the fire, you feel warm, and like as you get closer to the fire, you feel warm, but your back still feels cold. It doesn't make sense to you.
Mm.
Make an Arcana check
A lot of rolls.
with disadvantage.
Oh.
You just
Probably
have
didn't have to be, but
Lavin already rolls with disadvantage.
that was a 4.
Typical.
There's an Arkmir roll.
And we're back.
Don't notice anything.
Balances back to the
You
universe.
don't notice anything being strange. You look around, and the chill and the uneasiness kind of makes you look around a lot more furtively, glancing at the rooftop of the building in front of you, glancing into the trees amongst the trees. Don't spot much movement. Just the branches of the trees slowly like swaying in the wind.
Hmm.
Yeah, at this point, I'm kind of just mentally, Arkmer's just kind of mentally starting to get a little bit concerned about this feeling that he's experiencing. And I think I'm just gonna kind of turn my back to this fire and kind of just sit out, like facing outward. So I'm still trying to observe whatever might be out there, but also trying to warm up my back because this cold feeling is
Chill
still
down
unnatural.
back, yeah.
Yeah.
Just lay in the fire. That's fine.
Surprisingly, the fire doesn't seem to help, and you,
No.
you still feel just a strange cold sensation. And about like 4 hours later, as Kaltir comes out of his trance and finishes his meditation, you see Arkmir sitting with his back to the fire, but almost shivering in the cold. It's
Guys are gonna have to snugsy.
it's a weird thing to come to, and that being the first thing that you see.
So for me, how does the temperature feel outside?
Warm, very warm.
Oh, all right. Acme, are you cold right now?
uh, maybe.
You seem to be shivering,
I mm,
and you're close to the fire too. I guess, you're not climatized to this place very well.
this is been in for in schema for a little while now. And this is the first time I'm feeling this. I don't know what's happening. Am I sick?
I put my hand to his forehead.
Calder, make a medicine check.
So many rolls.
Medicine. Uh,
You-
uh 15.
There are diseases that you've heard of that could be causing this. You do notice that his like forehead is like sweaty. It's warm, almost feverish in some ways. Um, but if he
Okay.
doesn't feel warm, then
Let me just check. Uh,
Is it Rona?
Got David.
I think this is. Oh, actually, um, so I guess can I gather that it is some kind of um natural like ailment that's affecting him and not like magical in nature? I don't know if
it could
my
be
roll it
either. It could
could
be
be
either.
either. Um,
You do know that there are diseases for which this could be the symptom of. Make an Arcana check.
Oh boy.
Yours might be better than mine.
uh, what was that roll? 11.
You also know there could be magic spells that could have a similar effect.
There could be magic spells affecting you, but it may also be some sort of natural thing. Give me a moment here. Sorry, one sec. I'm going to take a moment to just kind of actually, I don't think it even uses anything. One sec. It is just verbal and somatic. I'm going to then kind of press my hand to his chest and cast Lesser Restoration.
Ooh,
Oh shit, son.
interesting. Hold on. Wait.
Calder touches his penis.
There
It
isn't
says you
a
touch a creature and can either end one disease or one condition. The condition can be blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned.
there isn't a material component to that. Nice.
Nope.
All I have
Faye.
in my notes is
What's
Arkmir
your
gets
spell
silly.
save throw?
Mine.
Yes. Your spell
Save
save
DC
DC.
is 14.
Arkmir, you suddenly feel this moonlight glow almost diffuse across you. What does your spell look like as you cast this?
Oh shit.
So I will. So yeah, I just kind of I pressed my hand to your chest for a moment, just taking it in, um, and then yeah, I just kind of close my eyes and I'd say mostly just like my hand starts glowing, like kind of like yeah on your chest, just starts glowing, kind of like that pale white kind of moonlight, kind of like emanating from there. That's pretty much all it is.
Cool.
As the moonlight glow almost like comes from the front, Keltir, you see this. Arkmir doesn't. This black, almost like twilight shadow from behind him casts onto the fire and almost like burns away.
That's actually pretty cool.
Have I seen something like that before?
Nope. Also, Arkmir, you almost instantly feel better.
Ooh. Oh, I feel warm again. Okay.
You feel warm in your back. You feel like a little bit extra warm, like flush almost, like you've been sitting next to a fire for a long time without noticing its heat. Or like you came out of like a really hot bathtub and all of a sudden realized just how hot it was.
What did you do?
Uh, well, I just uh, performed a small spell to restore yourself a little bit there. It's usually good for cleansing diseases or some other similar ailments. That that one though um, was odd. Uh, Normally, when I would use something like that, the recipient would merely feel better and go on uh, almost unfazed by the situation. But in this instance, I actually saw something uh, almost like extract from like a spirit or something, a shadowy figure almost from from behind you, like I was like exercising it almost.
What? Spoiler question. As Archmere, so everything I saw was just like Calther placing his hand, and I saw this white glow emanating,
Yes.
and then I felt better, right? That was
Yes.
just the extent of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You sure that wasn't just a shadow?
To be honest, I don't really know. I haven't seen anything like that before, but perhaps I don't know. Maybe the firelight is playing trick on my eyes. I'm not sure, but you feel better though.
Yes, yeah. Like either way, you whatever you did, please, thank you.
Hmm.
I hope that doesn't happen again, but if it does, I will definitely come to you. Thank you, Calther.
You're welcome. That's I try to help people who I can. So happy I was able to this time. I will say it was a little odd that you were feeling so cold. It's actually quite warm here.
Yeah, and I'm like wiping away my sweat.
um,
All
but
right.
anyway,
Well,
I mean, if you have, how did your watch go? Did you see anything? Did the person come back?
uh, no, I think it seems like we scared them off.
Hmm, perhaps they don't
Uh,
like being watched as well.
thanks to that. It's good knowing that we're in uh bigger company here.
Hmm. Is
All right.
anybody else awake at this point, or is it just Arkmir and I, and everybody else is sleeping?
They trust us to watch them.
Butch is up, and they've been rotating kind of watch, and there's
Mm,
been somebody tending to the fire almost throughout the entire night. Um, at one point it was Marianne. At one point it was Butch is currently keeping watch. He's up.
Did anybody else see or react when I did that restoration?
Butch was the only one who was up, and he did seem to notice and was looking, and is now pretending like he wasn't paying attention.
Okay.
Fucking
Um,
Butch.
all right. Well, uh, it's I know it's quite late now. You've been up for a while. If you'd like to go get some rest, I'm happy to take over now. I've uh,
Yeah.
completed my meditation for the day.
Yes, please. And like, I guess I'm gonna assume um, Arkmir is fairly tired just after the long day, but also I feel like this would have been more of a strenuous watch. So
Yep.
yeah, I just limber my way over to just the side there and lay down my tent.
As you lay down, you turn towards one side, and you can clearly see up in the sky, almost like the moon in front of you. It's like, I believe I said it was a waning crescent, or like waning just
Hmm.
past the waning half moon. That's
Right.
what it is. Still visible in the sky towards before the end of the night. And
Mm.
you fall asleep in the moonlight, and the rest of the night is one of the best sleeps that you've ever had.
Oh shit.
Nice.
Meanwhile, Kaltir,
Mhm.
roll a perception check.
Oh Lord.
All right, here we go. That dice has been all over the place for me. I'm changing it up. Mistakes were made. 11. I have such high perception. I rolled an 11.
You look around, and you, over the next few hours, as Butch kind of is still keeping watch, and then rotates over, and Cletus wakes up, and Cletus is keeping watch um, alongside you for the rest of the morning.
I was probably a little distracted, like writing
Mm,
more excessively about what I saw
yep,
than I should have been watching.
yeah. You don't seem to notice any more disturbances around the backyard, and
No disturbances in the
I
force.
was just gonna say it, but I didn't.
the sun rises, and you're since you went to sleep a little bit later, you let everybody sleep in as well a little while longer. Um, as the rest of the camp kind of wakes up and starts to break camp and set up their wagons for their journey over into Ward 4, I believe was where
5.
they were headed next.
You said
5
5,
was
yeah.
where they were headed next. Yes, 5. Um, we'll cut to Ward 1. the Spark Eye workshop. Early in the morning, the sun has
Whoa.
just risen. The two of you turned in fairly
We're
early,
the
or at
old
least
men.
Simon did. At least Simon did.
Yes.
The big one was probably up a little bit later. So Timon, you're the first one to wake up, and you do find a small piece of folded paper resting near you in the morning.
Like on top of my ass.
It generally transforms back from a bird when it's near you within 5 feet. So realistically, probably within near you. But for dramatic flavor, we can go on top of it.
Ooh, what is this?
Now, Ashra, word for word, recite what you said.
Yeah, I should have gone back and rewatched that. I did not. The gist of it is to meet in the morning at Clanko's.
Meet up at Clanko's tomorrow morning. Is that today? Or
You're the
tomorrow?
only one awake.
Oh shit.
I don't know. Probably today. Astra. All right, I think the last wants to meet us. Oh, I'm so sweaty. This fucking city's so warm. Where are my breeches? Like, with...
You get dressed. And you
he
pull
comes
on
from
your
a
armor.
cold city, man. So like, he's not used to
Yeah.
this weather. So, all right. So, Timon gets up, looks around. Is there anybody awake? Any movement in the house?
The big one is asleep. And as you kind of look out past the door into the rest of the house, there doesn't seem to be any movement. Very quiet, very early in the morning.
All right. Well, sun's out. I think I'm going to go practice a little bit. So, he is going to grab Thunder.
Mhm.
He is going to grab half of his ammo.
Mhm.
He's going to walk outside.
Yep.
Around the area of the shed that Spark Eye had mentioned the day
As
before.
you walk outside and you open the door, there's like a small like construct of a rooster that's set up on the side. As soon as it detects any motion, it just starts making cock-a-doodle-doo!
That's what
Cock-a-doodle-doo!
That's what
Oh,
they
It
make.
definitely wakes up the big one.
That's definitely the sound roosters make. Cock-a-doodle-doo!
Construct roosters.
Cock-a-doodle-doo!
Shut up! And
It
he tries to
does
like
not.
tap it.
It does not stop. The big one, you wake up to this noise.
Oh,
Still a little bit
oh,
sleepy.
oh.
It's been a fairly short night's sleep for you, but
oh,
well rested. You were in your own home, in your bed. It was very comfortable.
sure was.
Overall, you do get your long rest.
Yay! Oh,
Yeah, Timon's a little flustered and just trying to slap the shit out of the thing and not to break it, but
do I
like
have
to
a
shut
button
it up.
in my workshop that I can press to turn it off? Is it one of those?
No, because usually you're the
Ah.
one who goes out to
Oh, okay.
trigger it, and then you like press the
Oh.
disable button like
Oh,
on the back and turn it off.
we must have some company. I'll get up and I'll step in and notice that Timon's already up, so I'll
Yep.
go head towards the rooster and good
The
morning,
rooster's
Timon.
head is at this point turned almost like 180 degrees behind from where Timon's been trying to turn it off.
Yeah. Oh, please excuse me, and I'll go and I'll click the little button behind.
You press the like little switch that's hidden almost behind its like back tail feathers, mechanical tail feathers, and it stops. From
How
up
did-
above the second floor, like a window opens up, and you see your
Oh.
father Janawak looking down.
Hello,
Sorry.
Father.
Good morning. He just waves and then closes the window again.
Big one, sorry to wake you up.
Oh,
how,
no
How
worries.
the fuck do you turn this thing off?
Certainly, there's actually just a small button behind his head there that you can just click and it will deactivate the alarm.
Oh, okay, sorry to wake you up.
Oh, that's what he's there for.
Well, I have you here. I'm actually setting up to practice a little bit.
Oh, certainly.
With Thunder. Would you mind taking a look at Thunder and seeing if there's anything that I can do to load it faster?
I can certainly check.
So,
So I hand him.
side note, I can. I'm just not the right level yet. But DM, is there anything from an engineering standpoint that I might know, having made my own gun, or anything that I can tweak?
Make a tools proficiency, like a tinkerer's tool check.
Which
or
I am
whatever
proficient
that
in.
would-
Yep.
You are proficient in that, yeah.
Okay. Ooh, that's good. 19. Is it dexterity plus proficiency? Is that what it is? Or are we using int because I can use int as...
Whichever. I don't know
Okay.
how you're.
I think because...
That's probably fine.
Okay, so then that
Because
case...
you're kind of analyzing something that already exists instead of building something, so I'd say
Yeah.
int is probably fine.
24 then.
You notice that the design of this, like, of the firing mechanism and the loading mechanism is actually quite ingenious. It's not like anything
Ooh.
that you've seen before.
Whoa.
You also notice that, strangely enough, there has been some sort of design thought put into loading it quickly
Ooh.
that maybe Timon had not noticed yet or hadn't practiced with yet.
Oh, whoa.
There's almost like a side chamber that opens up, allowing you to like slot in a bullet and then like cock it with one hand while you go and get another one. That Timon just maybe hasn't noticed or clued into that that's what its true purpose is, essentially.
Oh, well, Timon, I'm not sure if you're aware. I mean, I could probably put a little bit more thought into this and maybe tinker with it, and somewhere down the road maybe make it faster for you. But for now, there's actually a small little side chamber here that you could potentially load in while you're actually loading the main chamber. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but that's... You can load a side chamber while the main chamber gets
It's
the
more like you
nozzle.
can load in. It's more like you can load in while you're still firing. Essentially,
That's
so
what I
like,
meant to say.
while you fire, you can load a second one in with your second hand.
I reiterate that.
Trying to mechanize in the gunner feed.
Yeah.
that he took.
Sure.
Oh,
So,
really?
So I'm not sure if you're aware of that. I'm not quite sure how it works, but I feel like you're pretty good at handling this piece of machine. You could certainly try it. I'm sure it'll be a little faster.
As he pointed out to you, you noticed that you had noticed this when you were building it, but you didn't know what the purpose of the design was. Anya hadn't told you exactly. She was like, "Just do this. Just follow these instructions. Just make this way."
And then she was gone.
And then she was
Yeah.
gone.
It's actually made quite beautifully. It's quite the engineering feat.
And I'll hand it back to you and let you fool around with it.
Thank you.
Oh, certainly.
I'm going to give it a try. When Anya and I built this, she built the firing mechanism. I built the construct. I worked the metal, but I had never paid too much attention to this side chamber. Even though
it's quite amazing, actually. It will allow you to reload, I'm sure, much quicker.
I'm going to give it a try.
Oh.
And then I'm going to load through the side chamber around, and I look at something in the in the backyard to shoot at.
There's probably a half fucked up construct somewhere on the yard you can shoot
there
at.
There definitely is a half fucked up construct, like something that
like
was designed to like mow the grass, so that now is just like falling apart.
Yeah.
What's my purpose?
Like the rooster.
So
the rooster's a genius invention.
And
so
then
normally in the past you'd been loading it by like cocking the whole gun out, putting the bullets in, rechambering it, and then firing. With this, you notice that even while keeping the gun clipped, you can pop open the side chamber with one hand, put in another bullet. So you would pull out like 4 or 5 bullets, slot them in one, fire, slot them in the other, fire, instead of having to reach down and do that whole ritual to reloading.
Okay, so I will have like 4 or 5 rounds in my hand, and then load one, and then I'm gonna start practicing like shoot and then reload, shoot, reload.
And I'm definitely I'm taking some notes mentally. You see the big one's definitely he's coming up with some mental notes for the future inventions.
Yep.
There's a lot of loud exploding gunfire noises ringing out. But
it's just another day.
None of them are anywhere near as loud as the cock-a-doodle-doo of the rooster.
I didn't shoot the actual rooster that woke us up, did I?
No.
No.
God,
No.
no.
Okay. Can I roll for the
Sure.
shot?
Just give some like attack rolls.
All right. 13.
Yeah, you hit. It's a non-moving construct that's fairly large. It's about human size.
Actually,
It's, like,
sorry, that
leaning
was a
down
10.
a little bit.
That was a 10. That's a
10 just barely hits. It kind of glances off of it.
Okay. One
Maybe
more.
you're not used to this like firing mechanism.
So the
or
second one's a
method, yeah.
natural 20.
That definitely. So you socket the first bullet in, you fire, and then you're too busy focusing on getting the next bullet in quickly that your first shot goes wide, but your second shot right in the middle of the head of the construct just rings off of it,
Nice.
leaving a nice big dent on it.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna spend, I don't know, some time just spending a bunch of bullets and practicing and, I guess, improving my technique.
Do you share the note with the big one, or keep it to yourself?
After I'm done with the practice, because right now I'm too focused on this.
Probably the big one. What are you up to? Then in the morning
So yeah, so again, for the first little bit, I'm actually like quite interested in watching him and kind of observing the mechanism. But then once I see that he's quite focused and he's having a good old time, I'm gonna go inside and say good morning to Father and make a cup of tea. So,
Oh, good morning, Father. I'm just about to put the kettle on.
Your father is still upstairs. It's still a little bit early for him. So
Just kidding, Father. I'm talking to the chair again.
you
Just
prepare
standing over
tea
him
and
as he
Yeah.
waits. Morning, Father.
I'm
grab some slices
putting on the
of
kettle.
bread or breakfast or eggs or whatever.
yep, just cook up a little slice of couple apples on the side. I'll make breakfast for Timon and bring it out to him after, or offer it to him if he would like it.
Yeah.
So I'll cut that all up.
Timon, if you get a moment, I've prepared some food for us if you would like to eat. Please feel free to eat it out here if you would like, or inside.
Oh, yes, absolutely, lad. I think I'm done with this. Put it out back.
Perfect.
I'm actually starving.
Oh, great.
And I'll show him, and you'll notice that, like the tea set that he had earlier, everything's very perfect. The apples cut very beautifully into the same size little wedges, and there's just little eggs and a couple biscuits and things, and it's all prepared very beautifully.
You have like a
Very-
little flower like garnish on there.
There's 3 plates that have been set up around the dining
He's
table.
wearing his little apron around his waist.
You do notice that at the table there's one chair that is much bigger than the other 2. The other 2 are like the other chair is actually a little small for you, but it's snug as you grab a seat.
Thank you, big one. This looks lovely. Oh, by the way, when I woke up today, there was this note. I think Astra wants us to meet with her this morning. Not clear if it's this morning or tomorrow morning, but
Oh,
here, take a look by yourself.
sir, it's me to that. Well, I remember that they were talking about wanting to go pick up some supplies, so I'm sure they mean today. I mean, we could wait here for another day if you think that's necessary, but they did go out to go to Sophistication. Perhaps they're asking us to meet them there this morning.
Probably. As much as I would like to have a bit more rest, because I'm still
You're looking
feeling
a little better.
tired. Yeah, little by little. Definitely better than 3 days ago.
Certainly.
But yeah, I don't mind
Okay.
going to meet up with them
Okay.
after this lovely breakfast.
Yeah,
of
please
course.
enjoy it. It's not too far from here. I do know the way, actually.
All
I
right.
think.
You would know
I know the
location
area,
of most of
yeah.
the stuff in Ward 1. Like
Okay.
most of the landmarks in Ward 1 you could probably find your way to.
Perfect.
All right.
Now the one thing that I do remember is that the note did not have a time on it.
Perfect. Then we can enjoy
That's
our
correct.
breakfast. We can rest up.
Oh, please take your time.
And it will
There's
also
no
take
mentioned
the rest
no
of your
time.
friends at least like a couple of hours to get back from Ford.
Yeah. We got lots of time. We're gonna get cleaned up. We're gonna put a nice fresh purple coat on. We're good to go.
Big one.
Yes.
After we're done with breakfast, do you have a large vial of some kind? I want to get my brew out of the kit from last night.
Oh, sure. I'm sure you can find anything around here that might be large enough for you. Certainly.
Thank you.
As you kind of get to work on that, and the big one, you start to wrap up your belongings again to prepare and get a nice fresh set of clothes and start getting ready to head over to Clanko's curated collection of curiosities and contraptions. We'll cut back over to Ward 2, where Calpir, you've been keeping watch. Astra is the first to wake up of your group, but it's still fairly late in the morning that she does. You did go to sleep much later, and it's probably around like 9, maybe 10 a.m. that Astra climbers out of Alistair's tent.
So I would have fallen asleep reading all the pages in Alistair's tent. I probably woke up with some drool and maybe one like stuck to my face. But as I wake up, I'm gonna be like more spry than I usually am in the morning because I know that I can now bring Hoku back. So I'm gonna grab all the supplies, go out to the fire. Hopefully they haven't put it out yet.
It's out by now.
Okay.
Was smoldering and probably went out. Nobody would keep it running once the sun was out, basically. So probably went out by now.
Um, well, I have green flame blade. I could cast into the.
You also should
That's
have
not
like
how
a
that
flint and
spell
tinder box
works.
to light a fire. It
Okay.
should be fairly straightforward.
Knowing about
gonna
green
go-
flame
Fireball.
blade, that's not how that spell works.
I'm just gonna go sit next to Calpier and grab like the little brazier, the little pan thing. Put all of my
Chamber pot.
the chamber pot. Yep.
Literally no proof.
I'm gonna add the charcoal, the incense, and the herbs, and then light it on fire.
Right?
And it's
So
1 hour concentration. Why would it go up in flames?
this nondescript laboratory workshop can
Good.
that was used to be able to sustain a burning hot fire for over an hour.
All
You
right.
light a fire in and begin to ritual cast Find Familiar.
Mhm.
Calclear, you notice this happen. You notice Astra wake up, come out, and begin this ritual for over the next hour. She's making magical incantations and saying words and
I assume
focusing.
I've seen similar things before, maybe?
You have. The
Okay.
magic that you have seen isn't necessarily the same though.
No,
To
but
the layman's eye, it doesn't seem like she's doing anything. Just there's no magical energy. Most of the magic that you've seen, there's some sort of essence of moonlight, some sort of glow, some sort
sure.
of uh, arcane nature to it. For the purposes of the spell, for the majority of the first 40 to 50 minutes, it doesn't seem like anything is happening. She's just sitting in front of this fire with her eyes closed, muttering things, making hand gestures, almost talking to the fire, almost willing this Hoku creature. You do hear the word Hoku a few times um, in this strange, almost eldritch tongue, too. You don't recognize the words that she's speaking.
Hmm.
They seem harsh and rough, not like any language that you've ever heard before.
Right. Okay. Well, I know she's like focusing, so I'm not gonna like
Yep.
talk to her. But yeah, I'll just be kind of observing, taking notes of the gibberish that she's speaking.
It's only towards the end, towards the 59th minute of concentration, that the fire in front of her in this pot that was prior to this red, yellow, oranges turns a deep shade of black, purple, shades of purple in there, shades of dark blue, almost like you're looking up at the night sky in the middle of the day, essentially. The flame seems to flicker and almost form the shape of the pseudo dragon creature that you'd seen prior. And very briefly, a very brief moment later, there's a loud "Ah!" as Hoku forms out of the flame, the fire going out, and it flies up around you in a circle. Lands on your
Hoku!
shoulder, like nuzzled against your hair a little bit.
Aw. I saved you on a Timon's potatoes. Don't tell him.
Mm.
He chomps down on it.
Aw. I missed you, buddy.
Arkmir, it's at this time that you wake up as well, and you wake up mostly because the tent that you were sleeping next to is being packed up and pulled up and wrapped up and loaded onto a wagon. Butch and Marianne are kind of taking it off, and they're like, "Oh, no, sorry, did we interrupt your beauty sleep?" Marianne says.
I still feel like this is probably the best sleep I've had in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, no, not at all, not at all. And please let me get out. Let me get out of your way. And I'm gonna get up and instantly look for Calthier and Astra.
You roll up, you grab your stuff, you grab your backpack, you see the two of them sitting near the remains of a fire and another, well, what looks like an empty pot with some coals and incense that have been burnt on it. There's a very strong smell of incense that has been burning for an hour in the vicinity. Um, Even though you are outside, it still seems to linger a little bit.
Hmm. Then you come over and you may just notice that Arkmir seems a little more cheerful, I guess, than usual, just like a little more perk. But then come over to Calthier, just hands shoulder, like Calthier, Calthier, whatever you did last night, that was thank you. That
Whoa.
I
What did I miss? Ooh.
It was quite the evening. Uh,
He
um,
gooed on him.
you're welcome. I'm glad you feel better. You definitely look better. How you seemed a little rough there towards the end of the evening. But honestly, I didn't really do that much.
Fine.
It really didn't take much.
May not have been much on your end, but um, but yeah, thank you. I mean, I really hope that doesn't happen again. But thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And now I'm just gonna acknowledge the incense. Do I see Hoku now?
See Hoku is just
It's like
sitting on top of Astra's shoulder, like looking at you.
Hoku,
Ah!
and like I guess Arkman really hasn't. I guess Ford didn't really acknowledge Hoku's presence that much, but from around it's like Hoku, and it was to like pet Hoku, and I'm also gonna pull out. I think I have a peach or something, but see if Hoku
Aw.
takes a nibbler or
Looks
anything.
at the peach, and he had a bad experience in the past where he almost choked on it, and it was just like takes like a small nibble, and it's just like, not for him.
Aw.
Fine.
Well, I overheard you and Keltier talking. So you guys had a rough night together and then you woke up feeling kind of satisfied. Is that what I heard?
That's basically what you heard.
Oh, well that's good. Good for you guys. I always I always
No,
hoped
I
you two
felt
would
really,
become
I I felt really ill last night. I'm not sure what was happening, but Calther was able to help. He's had my back now for a while. whatever he did, just help me.
That's that's good. You guys, whatever makes you happy. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Y'all gather your belongings, and even as you get ready to leave, the rest of the camp is still in the process of kind of wrapping up and tearing down. You see them bringing some large, like, straw figures in from like store indoors that were used for potentially some of the performances last night. That they just left on the stage or near the stage yesterday. Now they're bringing them in out and loading them onto the wagons and the carts to move along from here. It's probably still going to take them a little bit of time to finish, but you're free to leave and make your way back toward one, should you choose to do so.
I think, Astra, you sent a note, right?
Mhm.
Um, I'm not sure if it made it to them, but if it did, perhaps we should begin heading it. It's a bit of a hike back um, toward one.
Right.
Um, I guess is there anything else that you guys wanted to speak to um, the folks here about?
Nothing here.
Mm,
No, I'm ready to go. I sent Timon that very thorough note, so
mm.
they should be there probably about the same time that we'll get there.
All right. Well, I think they did mention I believe they were heading toward five to do another show of sorts. Still not entirely sure what they do, um, but perhaps if for whatever reason we need to find them again, that would be a place to start.
You all start making your way out. Again, the only way out through the restaurant is through the back area, past the kitchen, through the floor of the restaurant, and then out through the front door. There's no other way out from the backyard that stands fully fenced in. As you make your way out, you can see that the inside, like the kitchen and the back rooms, are mostly empty, but the floor they're starting to clean up and set up for today's evening of entertainment.
Hmm.
See a mic that's being set up. You see, um, seems to be a musical performance that's going to be coming here tonight.
Is it one of those places that's like only open at night?
Yes,
Got it.
the floor is empty. There's no activity happening aside from the menagerie moving their equipment out and getting ready to hit the road. You exit from the front door. You don't see the two elven bouncers. It's
Oh
very
yeah.
fairly empty. The front of the restaurant is fairly empty. Walk up the path to the street that the guards had taken you along, and you start making your way back along the same path that the guards had taken, escorting you through. Takes a while. You do get some glances from the guards in the streets. The guards
They
that
are
you
also
notice,
getting glances, so
yes, with their dark blue berets and tabards and well polished metal armor and halberds. But it seems like outside of the fact that the last time you were here was well past midnight, they seem to be allowing you to travel. And you get better looks around in your vicinity of the ward. You get better looks at some of the towers, some of the fountains, the large manors and manor gates that you're walking past.
is there through traffic now? Like, is there people walking through the streets or anything? I know it's morning, but I mean it's late morning now, right?
It's late morning. There's a few. It's not nowhere near as crowded as any of the other wars that you've been
Sure.
to. You also notice, just in general, less constructs about. There's a
Makes
lot
sense.
more horse-drawn wagons. They're real horses,
Mm.
which is something that you notice. Um, there's a lot more people traveling on foot.
So when you say, is there no constructs or there are some, but
Make a perception check.
oh man, I don't know what dice to use. This one. Damn it. 9.
You do not see any constructs
Okay.
over the next like hour or so as you make your way out of this ward and into War 6.
Other people are just walking on foot. Are they dressed just like well dressed?
They are generally well dressed, but there are a few people like there are restaurants and bars and other establishments in this district that people work at who are not potentially wealthy nobles. But most of the people that you see are fairly well dressed. Even those people who are here for work purposes or traveling through or whatever they're doing, it seems like it seems like an upscale neighborhood in general.
Hmm.
But yeah, you don't notice any constructs. You don't notice any mechanical. You actually don't notice much stuff built out of electrosteel. There's a lot of stone and brick buildings.
Assholes.
It's a very different vibe from what you've gotten used to in the rest of the city.
Is there I forget if it was this ward, but do we see more, not Magitech stuff, because obviously that's like Ward 1 and whatever, but is there like arcane elements? Like I
Yes.
think you said like there was like the
Yes.
globules of light and everything. Is there kind of like okay.
It's immediately evident that there is some form of magic around. There are fountains that are working that don't, like, the water seems to be bending in ways that doesn't make sense normally. There are still these floating orbs that, even though they aren't casting light, they are still remaining floating in different regions. There are towers that seemingly vary in size and shape that, again, wouldn't make sense if they weren't built magically. In almost like a strange structure that wouldn't be gravitationally feasible other than that. Definitely a magical area. You see signs that are kind of like pointing towards something and then intermittently and then changing to some like completely different words. There's magic about, but it's more subtle, more elegant in some ways than the rest of the city.
What does the Spire look like in Ward 2?
The spire looks almost identical.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to look any different. There's still a cable connecting from the central prime conduit to the spire over here.
Okay.
The area around the spire, there's large trees that almost climb up to roughly half the height of the spire, so it looks like it's a little bit less prominent. But when you compare it with the rest of the spires, it looks about the same.
So what you're saying is they still benefit from
They sure do.
magic.
I'm not saying anything.
I am.
You're not saying it, but you're saying it. All right, cool. Yeah, I was just curious if like if it looked different somehow. Like they were like, we're making our own spire. And like they made it, but
It looks identical to the other spires.
okay. Okay, cool.
You
This is also
go ahead.
I was just gonna say this is also like I'm just like as we're walking through, I'm
Yes.
just looking around. I'm not like stopping and going down random places to see things.
You're walking past, and almost towards the edge of the ward, there's a small, another tower that's kind of rising up. It's a little bit shorter, probably only like 3 or 4 floors. From the top floor window, like a burst of flame kind of bursts out from it. Nobody seems to be paying any attention to it. Nobody seems surprised by it.
That's in this ward. That's not like
Yes, in this
oh,
ward.
okay. Is there any
There's a
like
guard.
signs on the
There's a
building?
guard that like briefly just looks up and then just shakes his head.
Oh,
Just keeps walking.
some sort of like experiments going on in there.
So very quickly, probably like half an hour to 45 minutes of walking later, you find yourself at that almost. it's not a barrier or a wall per se, but it's clearly noticeable that there is a line here where the street almost changes.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Go from nice cobblestone to
Yes, rough,
Yeah.
much rougher. You go from the orbs floating to the electric Magitech connected power cables and lights and bulbs. A lot more people here, and you notice in this ward a lot more children. Um, as you enter Ward 6 now during the day, there's a lot of children, teenagers, young adults.
Oh, this is the training ward or whatever, right? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
There's people walking about, generally a younger uh, audience, a younger group of people. There's lots of people talking, having discussions, animated debates, um, learning, learning their craft. You make your way past the plaza and the park that was relatively empty last night, um, and now is full of people. There's hundreds of different races and ages of all sorts, people milling about, working on learning and improving and studying different subject matter. Is there anything specific you want to do, or just continue straight through Ward 6 to get to the gate to Ward 1?
Astra, Arkmir?
Think like as Astra's walking through, like she is really excited to get to Clanko, so she's not going to try to take up extra time doing stuff. But as she's walking through, she's just going to try to like peek and see what people are doing. If they have like if they're walking with books open, she wants to kind of look and see what they're reading about.
Yeah, there's people who are solving, sort of like they're doing math. There's people who are writing. There's people who are uh, making like sculptures and artwork. And there's a large presentation of some sort going on in like a semicircular, like amphitheater type area of the park. It's very crowded and very much a hub of learning and development. It's like a very big university campus in some ways that you're walking through. But also, there are schools for elementary school age children. You notice schools for uh, younger children and their children walking about, and there's almost like a history of schema like tour field trip that's out, and they're walking about and they're talking about this is, as you know, this is Ward 6, and we'll be making our way into Ward 1 shortly, the Artificer Ward, where our great and esteemed artificers keep the city of schema running, and so on and so forth.
Have we gotten the sense that every other ward, maybe skipping 8 and 2 is like my point, that they all like almost like really like and respect artificers in Ward 1 and all that?
Make an insight check.
What makes you think that?
There we go. 25.
In general, yes. And even in Ward 8, even, the big one was fairly well treated, aside from being shot full of arrows. Uh,
Shit.
They were
Artificers
shot with
were,
love, though.
yes.
I mean, I did
Artificers
die.
seem to be held in a higher regard in Ward 8 and in Ward 1 and Ward 6. Definitely not in Ward 4.
Not in Ward 4. Okay.
And also
Like a
not in Ward
general
2.
ward?
Yes.
Ward 4
Ward
does
4
not.
was the one. Ward 4 was the one where the shootout was, and it was also where when you guys were headed there, um, Yanowak told the big one to change clothes.
Oh yeah,
if you
right.
remember.
Right. Forgot about that.
But other than that, mostly yes, artificers are held in pretty high regard in
Okay.
the city.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, I would actually say the others would probably notice that, like, walking through Ward 6, that Kelthir actually kind of has like a bit of a smile. It isn't usually like he's not usually just like joyful and like smiling and cheering all the time, but as he's kind of like looking around Ward 6, he just I don't know. He seems to kind of like it, the place,
Oh, he's having fun.
but only Ward 6.
As you all are making your way back through Ward 6, let's cut back
Is
to Ward
Is it a
1.
natural smile or is it like a creepy, like force?
No, it's a genuine, nice smile.
Okay, good to know.
Cutting back to Ward 1,
Oh,
roughly about 2 hours before any of this
Oh.
is happening.
that was a good
You all have
breakfast.
finished preparing all of your things and getting ready to head out. You went and bottled the brew that you had made, Diamond.
I'm gonna try it.
Oh, I hope it tastes good.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
But yeah,
Ah,
it's alcohol.
It's also
no,
very
but it tastes
terrible
like-
alcohol.
Yeah, it tastes like
He
shit.
rolled like a 2.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot about that.
No, it was like a 5. It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't a 2.
Constitution saving throw? 14.
It's a little bit difficult to keep down. It burns your throat going down, and it tastes terrible.
Diamond?
But you hold your breakfast down a little. It's fine, but it
Oh,
tastes bad.
I'll just take my little tissue and I'll wipe the corners of your mouth.
is everything
I think
okay?
there was too much potato and not enough barley, I guess is the word I was looking for.
Oh, I don't think Cultier will appreciate this.
Oh, well, I mean, it's your first try. I mean, it took me a while to perfect my teas. Perhaps beer and teas are similar.
I don't know, something strange about the potatoes in this place. I've done this before, you know, like
Oh.
I'm proficient with this stuff, but
Well, perhaps
I was
perhaps we can
Probably.
add potatoes and find better potatoes on our shopping adventure.
oh, probably get a little bit more barley to.
We'll make
The
note
one that
of
I-
some more barley.
All right. Well, you never know when you're gonna run out of ale, so keep this. So put a
Alright.
stopper on it.
I've heard bad alcohol is better than no alcohol. I heard that from you, actually.
Aye, friend.
Well,
I
if
thought it
you
was gonna be like, it was just like, oh, it's so gross.
Yeah.
Oh god, oh, it's the worst.
You can mark down that you have 3 bottles of shitty potato beer.
Hey!
Terrible spud brows.
perfect.
Use it as a fire explosion tool.
Well, perhaps we should make our way over to Clanko's. I mean, Clinko's. We didn't really specify a time, but it has been a couple hours. I think we should head that way.
Aye, we should get going.
Oh.
I'm still a little slow. Still a little tired.
We'll take our time. Father, I'm assuming Father's up by now.
He came down for breakfast and had
Father,
breakfast towards the end of your breakfast.
We're actually heading to Mr. Clinko's store that you mentioned, and we have some supplies that we need to pick up. Is there anything I can pick up for you? Do you need anything?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
I'm retired now, so I shouldn't be working on these things anyway.
Oh, that's true. All right. Well, we're gonna go there, and then perhaps go to Miss Halfstep's place to discuss the experiment a little bit further. But
Yes, the prime Spire.
yes.
He nods.
Okay. Well,
You grab your things and you head out the door. And
hopefully we'll see you soon. Don't get arrested this time.
he laughs and doesn't say anything. You head
Be
out.
safe, Mr. Parkeye.
And then I'll flick the switch on the gate and we'll head out.
You head out and you take the longer quote unquote path.
Oh, and I'm proudly wearing my purple. Like, I had a fresh new purple, not whole one. Like, I'm proudly wearing that shit in here. Yeah.
You are wearing your fresh new purple artificer's robes and you
Yeah.
head out and You're walking past. You walk past the old iron salvage yard. Which one of you two has the higher passive perception?
Is it with smell?
No.
Damn it. I have 10.
13?
So
One of these times.
definitely timing.
Okay.
13.
But Timon has no context on what this place is.
Yeah.
So, big one.
Yeah.
You notice that the front gates of the salvage yard are open. There's no chain holding them together.
Well, that's odd.
What?
Arkmir
What
and
is
I.
this place?
Oh, well, this is actually Mr. Fado. You've probably heard his name. This is his salvage yard. Arkmir and I were here the other day, and I could have swore I put the chain back or closed the gate. I definitely didn't put the chain on. I kept it. I could have
But
swore.
you do know that you do. Well, you didn't notice, but it's like as a movie, if we would have seen this in the past, there would have been a chain on it.
Yeah.
I could
again.
have sworn I closed the gate. Now it's just wide open.
Do you think Mr. Fado could be at danger?
I mean, he was certainly in danger the other day. We had to save his behind, if you know what I mean. But I swore we told him not to return here. But perhaps we should check on him later.
Later? You don't want to look at it now?
I-
What if
do you
what
think
if
we have
there's
time?
somebody in there?
We could perhaps go make sure nobody's causing trouble. I don't want to keep the rest of the group waiting at Clanko's, but
Well, perhaps Astra meant tomorrow morning, so
that's a good point, actually. On that case, let's go make sure Mr. Fado's house is in order.
all right, let's go take a look, lad.
Just to let you know,
And I'm gonna whisper.
last time we were here, the place was in kind of a mess, and it looked like there had been some shady business here, so just
What
be
kind of dirty business?
the couch was flipped over, there was some blood, like nothing crazy, but it was definitely a little alarming, so just be on the lookout, be a little prepared. Just in case.
Just so I know, big lad,
Hmm.
how much blood are we talking?
Oh, not a lot.
It's at this point that you catch the whiff of something in your nose.
Do I smell it?
Yes, you also smell it.
Hell yeah. Was it the same smell as last time?
No. It smells of gunpowder. And there's a loud explosion that occurs
Whoa!
within the salvage yard. The shed that you'd previously gone into goes up in flames and explodes.
I'll put my
as
arm
you are
across-
standing in front of it.
I'll put my arm across Timon's chest and just kind of shield in case there's any debris coming.
Both of you make dexterity saving throws. Timon with advantage because he is shielding you.
Yeah.
13. I rolled 16, but I have -3 on dexterity because I'm a big giant baboon.
That dexterity saving throw?
Yeah.
19.
Let's go.
Oh,
Timon, you take 1 point of bludgeoning damage, and you take 2.
Oh.
Not a lot.
Oh
It's
no!
a very
Ow.
bad
Oh.
roll. And
Big
you are
lad.
still fairly far away from it. But the flames rising from the shed, there's heat emanating from it.
What has happened here?
Let's go, big lad. So I take out my shield
Oh.
and the warhammer in hand, and
You'll see
So-
in my metal arm a different color than you're used to, kind of just flaring up in the middle. No pun intended.
all right.
And then I'll
And
just.
Timon's scanning the field to see if there's anybody at
Make a
all.
perception check.
This is a skill check, right?
Yep.
Disadvantage.
Oh no.
You don't see anything or anyone as you
Natural
charge
one?
forward and make your way towards this
Natural one.
Let's go. Where's the emotes?
burning shed. The roof seems to almost be like caved in a little.
Oh,
The big one. you make your way into this plaza. The rest of the area and the piles of junk, the doghouse is missing, which is one thing that you had noticed prior, or somebody had noticed prior. But the shed is now very much on fire. The contents inside of it are burning.
So,
It's
question:
just
was
half caved in.
the shed different than his like it was the shed then the doghouse
It was the house basically, like his
Blew up?
office / house. That's what blew
just
up.
blew up? Okay. Oh my! I'm gonna quickly run as fast as I can without like running through obvious fire or whatever, and be kind of cautious. But I just want to see if I can see like a body, if anybody was inside or what. I don't know.
I mean, that's a burning fire.
Oh,
Make a. Let's see. Make a Constitution saving throw.
I'm good at those. I'm really good at those. 23.
So you like duck and like holding your breath for
And
a
I'll
little
like
bit,
put
trying
my
to not
shield to.
inhale any smoke in, and
Yeah.
you're looking around.
I'll put my
It's
goggles
impossible
down.
to really see too far inside the shed because of the fire. With the goggles protecting your eyes, that helps a lot, especially because your goggles are.
And my
heat-treated
trunk's way
because
up
of
above the
work that
smoke
you're-
breathing.
That's not how
Yes.
smoke works.
What?
But
Or it goes way down, I
Anyway.
guess. Sorry, it goes way. I'm low to the ground. I don't know how things work.
anyways, you can't see inside much because it was a fairly small office anyway, and most of the interior of the office is now on fire.
Oh,
But you don't make out any figures inside.
Timon, I hope nobody was injured or in there. I
He's
can't.
arriving by now because he is
Yeah.
half speed.
I can't see anybody in there. I think that nobody was inside. Who would do such a thing? What happened?
I don't know, lad. It
Um,
was just like this big explosion. Do you see anybody around? I didn't see anyone.
I didn't see anybody, but I don't know if you could tell, but when we were walking up, it smelled almost like gunpowder.
Gunpowder. Aye, I smelled the same.
Do you
It smelled similar to what what we use in
for our weaponry?
for our weapons. Yeah.
Do you think this was a setup? A trap, perhaps? I know Mr. Fado has been in a little bit of trouble, so I'm wondering if somebody was trying to hurt him again.
Did you see anyone inside of the shed?
I can't see very well in there, but I tried my best and I couldn't see anything. I don't hear anybody. If they were in there and survived, I don't hear anything. I don't see anything. I think there was nobody inside, but there's not much left to go in and check.
I will try to take a look, but I don't know. It's burning too hot.
Yeah, please don't hurt yourself.
All right, I'll be careful. So I put the shield in front of me and like I try to protect a little bit from the flames and just take a peek inside of the shed to see if I see anything.
You can make a perception check, but like it's hard to make out much inside, like without going in and risking like getting burned.
I'll go in.
Pretty hard to tell. Okay. As you enter into the burning building,
Damage.
that's a much better roll. You take 6 points of fire damage as
Oh.
as you make your way inside and you look around, and the place seems torched. It seems like an explosion went off in here. You can see that there's like a table and a shelf that's been tossed over to the side. It's all burning. Most of the things in here, like the furniture, was made of wood combined with electrosteel. The electrosteel is melting. No people inside, no bodies, no nothing. Seems empty.
All right.
You very
my
quickly
way
Yeah,
out.
just, like,
while
make your
he's
way
going
back
in
out.
and when he's coming out, I don't know if this will help in case he takes more damage, but I'm gonna cast with my arm, cast Ray of Frost on the entrance. Don't know if it'll help at all. I'm gonna do it anyway. You
Ray of
see me,
Frost is very focused.
yeah,
but
you'll see me
you-
attempt it, and it's just like, oh, clearly not working. I
There's
don't know.
like small stream of frost forms and freezes a portion of the door
Oh.
and then very quickly just
And then
melts
realize
in the
it's
fire,
too hot and just
like
kind of
causes
back
it to
up.
steam up and fizzle a little bit.
Oh, Timon, we should get out of here.
Oi,
And I'll
oi.
pull him out a little bit.
I don't see any. I didn't see anybody in there.
Perhaps.
It felt like the explosion happened inside because the furniture and all the things were scattered, like banged up against the walls.
Perhaps this was booby trapped in a sense. Perhaps we set something off by going through the gate.
But
I know from experience, you can certainly set things up to trigger based on movement or something like that. Perhaps it was a setup and they meant that for Fado.
but who? Are there any signs around? Let's take a look. And I want to see if there's any markings, any
other footprints?
objects left behind, stuff like
Make
that.
an investigation check.
Can I assist him or roll my own?
Both of those are valid options.
Roll your own. I'm at disadvantage.
Okay.
Fucking disadvantage.
15.
4.
Timon's like,
Timon, you look around and you look around closer to where you look around closer to the entrance where you assume that if there was a booby trap that would have gotten triggered, would have been, and there doesn't seem to be anything there. Big one, you notice you do see footprints. You see several different sets of footprints. You see one set of footprints that seems to be more focused around where the doghouse used to be. You also see drag marks around that area, as well as cart wheel marks. It seems like.
Timon, come here, look at this. And I'll point out everything I saw.
You also notice near the corner of the warehouse where the explosion seems to have occurred, there's a small casing of sorts. It looks like an alchemical flask, so to speak.
Yes, it is.
So I'll point out the marks and everything first.
And I'll say, when we were here, I'm pretty sure I don't remember any of these marks here. There seems to be footprints and looks like someone was dragged there, and cart marks, and there seems to be something over here. And as I approach and realize that's what it is, I'll take a step back.
What?
Timon, I don't know what that is, but I think that may have caused it, and I'll point it out, but I'm not going near it.
Do I recognize it as similar to what I've seen before?
I mean, as you approach it, it looks very similar to the satchel charge that was used against you all barely a day or two yesterday. Similar materials, similar structure, similar metal that seems to be made out
and
of
I'm
almost like a bluish tinged metal, sort of like iron, but not quite. More gunmetal in color.
I'm gonna keep slowly backing up further and further.
Does it look like it's been set off already?
Yeah, it's like broken up in half.
Broken up? Okay. So I'll go in and I'll collect it.
Timon, please be careful. They're very dangerous.
This one is spent. Big luck.
There's still some liquid within the remnants. Like if you look inside of it, you can tell that there was some liquid. It's like wet on the inside.
This caused the explosion for sure, and I've seen this before. How much do you recollect from the warehouse?
I don't want any part of what you're holding. Please, we should get out of here.
How much do you recollect from the warehouse?
I don't see how that's relevant. We went in, we fought an ogre, and we were...
Do you remember that we came out singed?
I remember it being very odd, yes?
Yes, there was an object just like this that was thrown at us.
And I'm still like inching away from you.
I'm not a big fan of those. They're
As
very,
you
very
make your way
dangerous.
back, you're almost at like the entrance of the warehouse, and you do notice like Iron Cog running in the direction of this warehouse or of the salvage yard. Probably like a half dozen of them, more than you've ever seen in one location before.
Timon, we should really get out of here. We're going to get in trouble.
All right, I leave that on. Like I drop it and I follow the big one, not running. Like
Yeah.
I just walk out.
There's a way we can get away from the main direction they're coming.
Yep.
Kind of.
They're mostly coming from the main road, and
Yeah.
there is the side alley that you can kind of cut out of
Yeah.
before they get there. It'll be a bit slow with timing, but
That's fine. Yeah. I mean,
they're,
I'm also a
they're
19-foot
also
giant.
taking some time and like making sure that the road is clear. They're more focused on getting the people whose houses are near to here like into safety. The
Yeah.
flames also do seem to be dying down a little on their own. There isn't that much flammable material in the shed, to be honest.
Gotcha.
Can I retcon one thing real quick?
Yeah. Depends
Before
on
I
what it is.
before I drop the shell, the spent casing, is it made of metal or glass?
It's made of like a metal container, but there is portions of glass in it.
Is there any marking or any signature on the metal that I can recognize with my blacksmithing?
You haven't seen any material like this before.
So I don't even
it
recognize
appears to
the
be
material.
It appears to be a derivative of iron. It's similar to iron in many ways, but it has a strange blue tint to it that you do not recognize.
There's no marking as like a signature.
Make a perception check.
All right.
Just a
Disadvantage.
historical perception check. Or a history check. It's up to you.
11.
You recall that Alistair's guns were made of the same material. That's the only other place that you've seen it before.
All right. So I drop it and make my way to the side alley as quickly as I can.
You
in
dart
my
out and like
condition.
panting and exhausted. You make your way out, and as you kind of leave the scene of the explosion behind, the Iron Cog kind of converge on it and start working to put out the fire. You make your way down the street, down through the alleyways, over to the main street, continue on in the direction of Clanko's, and probably about 10 or 15 minutes later, you arrive at Clanko's curated collection of curiosities and contraptions, and you can see off in the distance, maybe like 10 or 15 minutes away, the rest of your friends making their way to meet up with you. That's a good spot to take a bit of a break.
Oh shit! All right, we'll see you back here
We'll be
shortly.
back in about 5 minutes.
I'm too excited to take a break.
Peace. Hello, and welcome back. As Kalthir, Astra, and Arkmir, as you approach the shop that last night had seemed very loud and attractive and alluring and almost impossible to ignore, now it looks relatively plain during the daytime. And you see up in front of you your two companions, Timon and the big one, looking a little out of breath, looking a little bit haggard as you approach. Timon's you can't see his shield because it's put away, but one of his arms is definitely like got a little bit of a ash and uh, burn marks on it. Uh, as the three of you approach, Kalthir, you definitely notice it. The rest of you two, maybe not as much. But
Big one, Kalthir.
Oh,
And I run, little one. I give him a pat on the head. I give both of them a hug. You guys smell like campfire.
I don't.
Astra, why did you call me Cultier?
God damn it.
we've been gone for less than 24 hours and she already forgets your name.
I know that's
Tyrant.
pretty offensive.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Okay, because I do get Kalthir and Arkmir jumbled in my head, but Timon not usually.
You know why? It's because you're looking more and more rested. You're actually looking younger, like Mr. Kalthir over here. That's gotta
It's
be
true.
it.
You look like you got a
Perhaps.
good night's sleep.
I did, but I'm already in the fire again this morning.
But
Arkmir,
I'm gonna try and whisper to you, but everybody will hear this.
do you remember Mr. Fado?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you remember the scrapyard that we went to?
Yes.
It's gone.
What do you mean it's gone?
I think someone may have perhaps set a trap in case he returned home, and Timon and myself may have sprung that trap. And it blew up.
What happened?
It's
Blew up?
well, yes.
Question DM, did we open the gate?
no, the gate was open.
Gate was open this time.
Do we have the impression that we triggered a booby trap? Like, did we hit a...
Based on what I know
You
about
took
certain.
a few steps inside of the warehouse and it exploded. That's all you know.
Based
Do
on
you make the
Magitech that
impression
I
was-
know, I assumed that. Not assumed, I threw it out there that we potentially sprung the trap.
Okay.
But the warehouse gate was open.
Yes.
Or salvage yard. I don't know why I keep calling it a warehouse.
Eh, same thing.
And was Mr. Fado there? Is he okay?
We both had a good look around, and actually Timon went in, and we didn't see anybody or anything, but there was definitely quite a few tracks there and cart marks and other things there.
But no corpses.
I don't think anybody was fortunately they weren't inside when it went off. But we did tell Mr. Fado not to return there, so I'm really hopeful that he took that message seriously.
I might know why someone's after Fado, but that might be something we'll have to discuss elsewhere.
Certainly.
Arkmir, do you remember the explosion at the warehouse?
Yes.
Do
Of
you
course.
remember the contraption that went off?
Vaguely, yes.
I think it was similar.
The trap.
I think the object that exploded was similar to the one that exploded in the warehouse.
The Gallowing.
Kalthir, Timon keeps mentioning a warehouse explosion. I don't think he's feeling very well. Maybe you could help him a little bit.
But it's okay, big lad. You don't remember.
Hmm.
You had a little bit of a panic attack in there.
Surely, from what I remember, that situation we handled pretty calmly.
Sure, Kaltir.
I think perhaps here's not the place to.
Oh, yes,
dive
certainly.
into this.
I just wanted to let everybody know that it seems, at least from what it appears, that Mr. Fado might be in danger once again. If
he's alive.
If he was not in there.
If he's still alive.
Shopping?
Meanwhile, Astra, you've been quite distracted throughout this entire conversation. And looking at the shop, you see the neon-looking sign, the magical sign where across which the entire name of the shop, Clanko's Curated Collection of Curiosities and Contraptions, was previously circling in the night that you'd seen, is now seemingly off. The shop looks like any other normal shop in many ways. There are windows in the storefront. The door handles are shaped like these nice C letters facing against each other outwards. You can look inside and you see shelves on both sides. You see small little platforms scattered around the middle. Do you approach and just go inside?
Yeah, you guys, can we we're here. Can we go in already? Also, we should really come back at nighttime. You guys should have seen it last night. There was lights, and every time you'd look away from it, the lights would go away. You'd look back, and the lights were there again. It was awesome. Okay, and then I run to the door.
You run to the door and you open you pull open the door, and immediately as you look out and move your hand out to open the door itself just opens inwards. You look inside and you can see fairly well decorated, fairly furnished. Lots of wooden shelves, wooden cabinets. There's cabinets with doors. There's strange contraptions, and off almost to the left side, there's a long counter. Behind the counter, there is a tall construct that's standing there. Also, what you notice is as you look through the door, you glance down. There's a shorter construct that has held the door open and is just leaning in the back, trying to hide from you. And off on the right side, far right corner, there's a small, almost like a cafe type bar, not a counter per se, but almost like a bar, and you see mugs and all sorts of different brewing contraptions set up over there.
I nudge Timon and point to it.
What is that, lass?
It looks like a bar. They probably have ale.
As you step inside, a voice comes from behind the counter. It's like, "Welcome to Clanko's Curated Collection of Curiosities and Contraptions." The construct behind the counter raises his hand and waves at you.
Ooh. Have I been in here
Seabot
before?
3000. I'm here to help solve all of your client problems. Welcome.
Did you
How
say
may we help? Yes, I am Seabot 3000.
DM question: has the big one ever been here? Regardless, he's excited. Doesn't matter.
Oh.
I don't think so. You have heard of Clanko as being a bit of an eccentric and not necessarily somebody who's well respected among the artificers.
Mr. Seabot? Seabot? Mr. Seabot?
Just waves at you as you all kind of enter. You find yourself in a very brightly lit room, almost hurts your eyes a little bit. There's hardwood, like dark wooden cabinets along the sides. There's tables. There's platforms set up with all sorts of different things. There's uh, clothes and capes and mechanical magitech contraptions. Almost everything in here seems to have some form of electrosteel element to it.
Oh.
Everything there's like reflecting like glints of light emanating from either embroidery that's been done in electrosteel or entire parts that have been made of electrosteel. There's this entire section that's just full of strange pipes and tubes that all seem to be connected to each other and form this like strange contraption that's very proudly on display. Actually, it would be on one of the largest like platforms. Um, as you enter, the small construct behind you closes the door, and the constructs look fairly humanoid. The one behind the counter is a little bit bulkier and bigger, more sophisticated. There's another one that's almost like it's got wheels on the bottom and it's wheeling around. It's moving much quicker. Um, and then the smallest one, which was the one that opened the door, as it closes the door, it wheels off and makes its way towards the bar in the corner. And you notice it almost like it's strange because there's like a little like folding door for a bartender to go into. It just wheels under it,
Nice.
and then when it gets inside, it almost like you hear like a cranking noise as it like rises up, and then now it's like standing behind the counter in the back. Greetings. Yes,
Oh.
I am Cbot 3000.
Was
How
this the
can we help?
smallest one? The
No,
smallest
that
one?
also
is
the
the
Cbot?
biggest one. The biggest one is behind the counter.
Yeah.
There's a mid-sized one that's wheeling around and it's
Yeah.
just standing near one of the shelves, essentially. And the shortest one is the one that's behind the counter, but he's now cranked up to like a taller size. To
But
be
he
able to serve.
also said Cbot 3000.
He didn't. The short one didn't say anything.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's still just the big one that's talking. It's or not the
Gotcha.
big
Okay.
one, but the big
Oh.
bot.
This place is
He's
wonderful.
almost as tall as you, but just a little shorter.
Oh,
Wow.
It's like 9 feet tall and
this
very
is
broad chested.
wonderful. Oh.
And the golems, the constructs are made of like electrosteel plates. Very well built. Well built. Well, at least like the smaller one and the middle one are not as well polished or well maintained. It seems like there's a little bit of rust on them that's visible. They're a little bit clankier, a little bit slower. But the big bot that's standing behind the counter seems pristine and is very well built.
Oh my.
And how can we help?
Are you Clanko?
Oh no, our master is not here at the moment. He's busy working on the next great inventions that we will be selling here. But us C-bots will be able to help you, help serve all of your needs. How can we help?
Oh.
Well, I heard that you guys might have some sort of a brew that helps with someone that's feeling really tired.
I believe my father called it a rejuvenation potion.
Oh, certainly. Let me just check in our catalog.
Oh.
And as he kind of leans down, he pulls out this like big book and just like flips it open and starts to like scroll through it.
It says Player's Handbook.
Indeed. Certainly. Cbot 2000. It's going to be in the potion shelf, third shelf, fourth from the left, and this medium-sized bot kind of like you look it around and you see it nod, and it wheels off really quickly, off towards one of the shelves, and you actually see it go past the like bar where the shortest spot is serving. And there's a door that leads into almost like a back room. It like opens the door and goes inside.
Oh.
I walk towards that bar counter.
Before you go, Arkmir's gonna go ahead and just hand everyone just a little little bag of gold.
How much you
Each,
giving us?
each one should have 120 gold.
Ooh. Nice.
Well, Arkmir, you really don't need to do this.
No, this is your hard-earned gold.
120, you said?
Yes.
Oh, is there anything I can get for you? I mean, this seems unnecessary for me, but perhaps I could put it to good use for something that'll help the group.
Yeah. Sounds like it'd been. I mean, do what you will. I think I'd appreciate anything that you'd throw my way. And I guess yes, I'm handing to everyone. Keltier, about to hand it to you, but I kind of remember that Astra took your coin last time, so I go ahead and bring the bag over to Astra and
Hey,
kind of look at you.
wait.
What?
Hey, Kaltier, I know that you are a little bit uncomfortable around coin, but remember what you were saying the other day. You could use this.
Yes. Yes, it appears everything around here requires money. Um, so perhaps I have no idea if this is a large amount of money. Um, but perhaps I could figure that out along the way. Put that to
Well, the trick is to ask the seller. You ask them, they will give you their price.
yes. That I understand, but I guess figuring out whether or not it seems like I've seen folks barter and change their price. I don't really understand the purpose of that. But perhaps you all can help me a bit if
Alfie, would you like
somebody
me
is.
to help you buy your item?
I'm
If you like something, I can help you do that.
sure.
And I give you the stink eye as soon as you you fake like you're gonna keep the money for yourself.
Again, Arkmir looks at Timon strangely, but
I mean, I can hold on to it. I at this very moment I have nothing in mind, but perhaps there will be something.
Maybe there's an attractive
hand it
penny.
off.
As this happens, the door into the back room kind of opens, and the other bot that had been called Cbot 2000 wheels out with holding a small cushion, and on top of it is a vial. It, like, wheels out and puts it on the counter. Cbot 1000, sorry, 3000, 3000. That's the one I'm looking for. Looks up and says, "Ah, yes. I have here a Clanko's Cordial of Curing.
Oh my.
How much for that, Mr. Robot?
It says here in my catalog that this will cost you around 1,000, 2,000. No, 500 gold pieces.
Ooh.
Oh,
What?
wow.
500?
That's what it says here. That's what Master Clanko deems as fair and valid price.
Mr. Seabot,
Oh,
my,
call me 3,000.
uh, okay, Mr. 3000. My father, you might know him, Spire Guy. He sent me to speak with Mr. Clanko, and I was wondering if he's in the building. I don't want to disturb him, but it'd be nice to actually meet the man that's in charge of this place.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh shit.
What's the name of the potion again?
Clanko's Cordial of Curing.
16.
Master Clanko is a little bit busy. He had a long night last night.
Oh,
Um,
well,
I can certainly go in the back and see if he's available.
Sure, please, thank you. Let him know the big one is here, and we're working on a special project that he might be able to help us with.
Certainly. He kind of like looks at Zbot 2000. 2,000, can you man the counter as I head in the back? And 2,000 kind of nods and just like makes its way back behind the counter as 3,000 walks out and like ducks under the door and like has to like go sideways a little bit to squeeze through the door. He's clearly not designed to go back there in some ways. He clanks off. Now that you get a bit better look at him, he is a very humanoid torso. Very large construction where lots of gears and magitech work going on there. Like a dark blue, bluish purple, almost like wire and cable that's connecting the different pieces together. Moves fairly clunkily, to be honest. In some ways similar to the little one in its movements, but a lot more complicated of a construction. You all just wait here.
Are we
This
allowed
place
to?
is incredibly expensive. I don't think I can afford this vial.
I do know that the one that Lenda gave us that we first used on you to wake you up back when we were in Freedom Hold, he did mention that it was a quite the precious potion. Not it seemed like it was not something that that is just kind of in high quantity, easy to obtain. I don't know if 500 gold is a lot, but based on your reactions, it seems like that's pretty steep.
That's a
Um,
lot of money, lad.
but it does. I mean, the impression that I got from that was that it's somewhat rare, or perhaps deemed extremely valuable.
I
Um,
can't afford it. Hey, Mr. Small Robot.
Are you talking to the medium-sized one or the smallest one?
The one that's manning the actual counter now, like the.
Okay, so that's the medium-sized one. That's 2,000. He looks at you and like nods.
What's your name?
He like sticks out his chest and there's like a engraving there that just says "Customer bought 2,000" underneath it.
Mr. Customer. How? What can you tell us about the wares? What? Can you point us to?
He like puts his hands up and like shrugs.
Is anybody looking for anything in particular? I actually have a small list.
He like gives a thumbs up and like points down at the catalog in front of him and like mimics reading it.
It's very strange, but I think he wants us to use the catalog.
He picks up the catalog immediately.
Oh, that,
He
yes.
points at you.
Me?
And then points at him.
Oh, him. Catalog.
Puts it down and begins to read.
I think
Mr. Customer is pretty picky.
Arkmir, Astra, Healthier, are you guys looking for anything in particular?
I want to like
He
around the
also
shop.
like just lifts his hands up and like points around the shop.
That's exactly what I was gonna ask. Is like, what do we see around the shop with respect to like items? Is there like
See
a
lots
sense
of things.
Is there a sense of like organization, or is there just like
there are
like,
shelves that are. It seems like most of the stuff out here is the fanciest and flashiest things, in a lot of ways. There are large objects that are set up that seem like very complicated Magitech creations. There are fancy-looking cloaks and gowns and robes and all sorts of strange things. There's also a cabinet which looks like it's actually locked, and contains a bunch of like smaller magical devices. All sorts of things. Roll a d20 for me and let's see what you find. What's the first thing that catches your eye?
A 4.
A 4. You are immediately drawn to like the capes and the cloaks that are kind of set up there because
I am
you're
following
a man of fashion, and you recognize a good cloak when you see it. You hold on one second.
Gonna fight Calthier for this.
Mine. Mine.
You see a cloak that looks fairly distinct in some ways. It's made of flowing purple, purple in color for sure, 100%.
And now you're fighting me too.
It's got almost like a white mantle of sorts, as well as like white and gold detailing all around, like the many layers of it. It's got like several layers. It's got like a little place card in front of it that says Clanko's chimeric cape.
And does it say in brackets
Does it have
made
a
for
description?
elephants?
It does not say that.
Damn it.
Is there any further description beyond that, or
No, it just has the name on it.
I'm gonna just shout over to hey Cbot 2000.
Mhm.
Can you help me with the description on this item?
Take 1 minute. Anybody else? What are you all doing around here?
Um,
Go ahead, Asher.
So I do want to ask Steebot as well about something, but just while he's busy, I'm gonna tell Hoku, Hoku, like go take a fly around the store, see if you can find a little trinket or something that we can put on your backpack, something that represents you, like a little shooting star, like a patch that we can ask Calthier to sew onto the backpack, or like a little dangly trinket or something, and then bring it back to me.
Just a patch that says North.
He kind of hops off, and as he starts to fly off, there's like a loud, like clanging noise from the back, just like from the counter. It's just like 2000 is just hitting his arms together.
Big one is that normal for the constructs to do?
Okay, Hoku, come back.
It seems that Mr. Clanko did not include a voice box for this one. I don't think he likes Hoku flying about the shop.
As Hoku kind of lands and starts to walk along the ground, is like the Seabot 2000 gives like a big thumbs up.
So he can
Okay.
walk.
Okay, Hoku, you're gonna have to walk through and have a look. I just imagine him like really cautiously now, like taking little steps.
Calthier, you were with Arkmir. Big one. What did you want to be doing?
Cbot, I actually have a small list of things that I'm looking for. I'm gonna whisper. I overheard my friends over there were looking for a bottle of magical ink. I can't remember what Spark Eye said it was called, but that clear liquid ink that you can write with.
Revealer?
Revealer? Yeah.
Revealer is what you use to like reveal.
What's the opposite thing he said? I can't remember.
It's like concealer, concealing ink.
I'm gonna buy a bottle of concealer and some blush and some lipstick.
Could I please?
Some makeup. So we came to the fantasy
I
Sephora.
want it to be actual like makeup concealer.
I would like to acquire a bottle of that. I'm also looking for a
Like gives a thumbs up.
Okay. I'm also looking for a bag of tea or some tea set you might have. I'm also looking for okay, that's perfectly fine. Maybe a small box of a little nicer bullets, nothing too fancy. Okay. I'm looking for a couple of just slightly better than shitty health potions, maybe 2-3 of them. No health potions?
No.
No? Okay. Maybe a not 500 gold potion of some sort can be anything. Surprise me. I'll decide if I want it. Let me see. That's
At this point, as you're listing off all of your things, the door to the back kind of opens, and Steebot 3000 sidles his way out and like comes back to behind the counter.
Oh.
Does he walk or does he roll?
3000 walks. 3000.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. 3000.
2000 immediately as he sees 3000 walking, he just does this like motion across his forehead and just like weasels out and goes back to standing beside one of the shelves. 3000 as he comes out, he's like looking up.
Oh.
He like holds his hand up. 1, 2, 3, and all of a sudden the entire shop is filled with prismatic light and
Oh.
glowing, and everything is. It seems like whatever was off before is now very, very on. There's a
Oh.
soft, smooth jazz playing. Almost everything in the shop seems like it's glowing. It has this like magnificent glow around it. Everything looks attractive in this lighting. You don't know what it is.
Oh my.
Great, it's more expensive now.
And out of the back door walks out a figure dressed in not purple, but very dark blue.
Mm.
And he's got robes on that are dark blue, but you don't notice the robes. You almost don't notice much about him except for the fact that he is entirely made of metal. Metal and almost like a liquidy metal. It seems like
Ooh.
muscle of sorts. It's moving. He's a machine, but he's moving more fluidly than any machine that you've ever seen before. He's bald, mechanical bald head made of electrosteel and all sorts of like the strange mercury-looking metal fluid thing that's sort of more solidified. But his eyes are basically vacant except for bright purple glow, dark
Oh.
purple. It's glowing, and he walks out, and he like there's a big yawn, and doesn't make any metal noises, but you can hear as he's walking, his feet are like clanking, his arms like come out of his robes about his robe sleeves go to about like halfway up. His like dark blue robes with gold trim and like an undershirt that's black. He looks very extravagant. He walks up. I see we have clients.
Oh.
Certainly charmed. Consider me confused.
Oh. Oh my. Are
He walks up behind the counter. How can I help you?
Are you Clanko?
Certainly.
oh it's a pleasure to meet you. My father, Mr.
I
Spark.
hear you have a compelling construction project.
Oh,
Something you're looking to complete.
yes, I'm looking for some parts.
Sorry, you're having
Oh,
some difficulty concentrating.
oh,
Like tilts his head a little bit and cracks his neck, and there's like a loud clanging noise almost. You've never seen anybody, any person, anything like this. This construct that looks like a construct but is moving and walking about like a normal human being.
oh
I
my.
nudged Timons. Do you think he had a little too much last night?
Lass, I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at right now.
I know.
I'm
I feel
used
like
to
he-
working metal, and now metal is talking back at us.
I know. Maybe we had a little too much last night.
He kind of like sits down on one of the stools that's behind the counter. Continue at your convenience.
My father, Mr. Spark, you might be familiar with him. He said that you might be able to provide us.
Old codger. Gotcha.
Have I heard that name?
It's a word. It's codger.
Oh. Okay, DM question, what does codger mean?
Yeah, no, either.
Old person.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's certainly in his later years. Told us that you might be able to provide us with some supplies that we may need, and potentially some of the items that I might need for a project I'm working on.
Certainly. What is it that you need?
Well, I was just telling C-Bot 3000 here, and then
Without going through it again, I'm gonna start labeling everything that I said.
As you mentioned that the C-Bot 3000 is like just looking through the catalog, and is like he's barking out instructions on how to grab those, where to grab those things. So C-Bot 2000 who's wheeling around and grabbing things, and you can now see almost like on each of the bots themselves, there's like LED lighting, like chroma going on all of them. There's like little strips of like rainbow lights that are just flashing everywhere, and
Q strips.
it's a very, very confusing situation that none of you all have ever been in before.
So I go through the list. So yeah, it was like a potion of some sort, surprised me. Bullets, bottle of that ink.
Can I clarify?
Sure.
Potions are not our chief service, so to speak. We focus more on construction and creations and enchantments of conjuration. There are other shops in other wars that focus more on potions. We just have a certain small collection.
Oh, interesting. Okay, perhaps I will shop elsewhere. I'm also looking for.
Apologies, but
that's okay.
Negotiate a better cost for your convenience, or for your inconvenience, so to speak.
Oh, certainly. I'm also looking for a very thin piece of black or brown cloth that I can put on my cloak, so that when I'm in other wards, they don't see my artificer colors.
What enchantment?
Not an enchantment, just a piece of black fabric, basically.
I can certainly inquire, but it might cost more than a place that cared of this matter.
Interesting.
You said bullets?
Yes.
As he wheels out, Seabot 2000 wheels out from a few of the shelves the things that you'd asked for. What were the things that you asked for?
Bottle of the ink that we talked about.
All right. He like holds it up. Clanko's concealing ink. Puts it down. 50 gold for the bottle.
Okay. So I was told you didn't have any teas, potions. You don't care about cloaks.
You see him kind of like pull out a notebook from underneath, and he's just taking notes of the things that you're saying that he doesn't have.
Pardon me, but I've heard great things about the items that you provide, and I'm not sure that. I mean, this is all wonderful, but it doesn't seem like you don't seem to care. Am I wrong? And I look at everybody else. This isn't quite what I had in mind.
Canonically, there are certain creations upon which I tend to concentrate a little bit more, and he gestures out at the sort of like things that are out front. You know, they bring a certain celebratory feeling of accomplishment to me.
Clanko, would you mind giving us a tour of your shop, just to see maybe
And list
some of
every
your
item
finest
on
items?
the shelves.
He like
Maybe.
points out. I'm currently busy with the construction. I was told there might be a chance for collaboration.
Oh, not at all.
Potentially a project, a commission.
Nope. No, I'm creating a project of my own, and I just needed a few spare parts, but I wouldn't necessarily call that a collaboration.
What would be those parts?
I'm looking for.
Let me just pull it up. I'm not going to show him the blueprints at this point. I'm a little turned off by his. Sorry, I have a list here somewhere. It's just loading.
Attitude.
His sassitude.
Mr. Clanko, what's your gem? What's
Your
like
specialty.
your specialty, your proudest creation
Oh,
in this shop?
I have two. And he points towards like behind you on one of the shelves. There's a locked display case. And inside it you can see what looks like a very long like tube of sorts. It's a tube, but it has like a small like almost like a sphere at one end, essentially. It's got all of these intricate like electrosteel carvings in it, but the tube itself is built of solid iron. Um, Clanko's combustive cylinder.
Does it
He
look
like
like my weapon?
gestures towards it. He doesn't get any response. He like gestures towards it again. It's bigger. It's much bigger. Um, whereas your weapon is like a rifle. This is more like a solid like fist-sized tube
It's a rocket
with like a big like round spear behind it.
We got a rocket launcher. How much for it?
Um, oh, I can part with it for I would say 4,000 gold pieces.
Oof.
Um,
4,000.
while he's showing this, you can kind of see like the big one's eyes, like that gif of Winona Ryder doing the like.
Numbers.
Like I'm taking mental notes of some of these things that he's showing us, just like as my own pictures of how I might create that one day. Just like
Yep.
taking
What's
all
the
these
names?
notes. Oh,
Clanko's what?
Clanko's combustive cylinder.
Combustive cylinder.
Interesting.
What does it do?
Hmm. Do you know how a catapult works?
Certainly.
Similar to that. You can set it up firing a sort of a arc, almost like a mortar. You can also discharge the entirety of its ammunition in one very loud concussive burst. Definitely not something I would be willing to part with easily, for it would cost a lot, and there would be some sort of certification required to make sure the cog don't come after me.
oh.
I see. You said that there were two.
Yes. Now the others. This is my latest. It's something I've been working on. He like looks at you, big one, and kind of like shakes his head a little. Very well. Have to consider selling it at some point. He points at one of the, again, like glass-covered containers, but this is more like a cylinder that's kind of set out in the open. It's like near the back door, near where the other like small bar is. It's like a glass cylinder, and inside it is almost like a backpack of sorts. But similar to like the repulsor cylinder, where the backpack is just built out of like machines and metal and tubes.
Oh.
And attached to the backpack, there's two gloves, almost like gauntlets of electrosteel, that you can put on your hands. And there's these tubes and wires and cables that run out and connect to the backpack. I haven't come up with a good name for it yet, but we're going with Clanko's contraption of channeling chaos.
Hmm.
What do you think? Too much?
Nailed it.
It's
No.
a mouthful.
It's
Mhm.
perfect.
Good.
Clanko's contraption.
Of
Of
channeling
what?
chaos.
What does it do? Let me guess. It channels chaos?
Correct. It allows arcanists and spellcasters of all kind to exceed their limitations, to surpass anything that they have known, to cast and channel magics that they have never even seen before, never knew about. It's marvelous.
Can I insight check him?
Make an insight check.
based on what I'm seeing and I'm hearing. That's a natural 20. It's for a total of 20.
He's being honest, but he's being guarded. You can tell that he's being guarded. He doesn't want to reveal all of his secrets and all of his things, especially not in the presence of an artificer.
Yeah.
But he also really is actually genuinely excited to talk about this creation. So
How
you
much
can tell
would
that
you
he is
want
excited.
for it?
Probably 3,000 gold.
Is there anything like without being able to pick it up, which I'm doubt he would open the case just to
He's
try
not
it.
going.
Is there anything I can gather from it of how it might work? I garnered that the backpack probably has something involved in it. Can I take a closer look through the glass, like get really up close to it and observe it?
You all just see the big one just like leaning up really close against this glass
And
and
I'll
taking a look.
put my goggles on.
Make an Arcana check.
Ooh, I'm good at those too. 23.
You gather that there's probably some sort of magical enchantment built into the backpack. That part you're sure about. But also you know that like casting spells is like a reservoir built in you, and you like channel out energy, right?
Yeah.
This seems like it has the capacity to convert your energy into something else, but it might have very unpredictable results. Like you know that when you're like casting a spell, it's very focused, it's very elegant, it's very like delicate, like you have to be very specific about what you're casting. But you also know, like especially you, there's probably something similar but smaller in your arm.
Yeah, I figured I thought when you looked at me, I thought he was like fuck your arm, because this is what I built. So
there's something similar but smaller, like more minute in some ways.
I'll look up, take my goggles off.
Seems like quite impressive work.
Clanko, do you primarily focus in these hostile contraptions? These
Oh no,
aggressive
not
in
at all.
nature?
Not at all. Just more recently, the city has been collecting conflict.
So, then do you ever construct things that protect those or help those in need?
All the time.
Any here that you are proud of? Your two
Roll a
primed
d20.
positions.
There it is. Don't roll a 4.
I didn't. I rolled an 8.
Alright.
Twice as good.
Two
Twice as
chimera
many
cloaks.
I'm sure you have heard prior. There are satchels and bags that allow people to carry far past their limitations. I have built my own. It's called Clanko's Container of Countless Collateral, and he points right back in the corner. Functionally a bag of holding, but it looks like it's made of like electro steel in all sorts. It almost looks like a lunchbox that you would be carrying in some ways. It's not very pretty, but it gets the job done. It's like a lunchbox, and it like points to where it's at. I can part with that for the measly, cheap price of 500 gold pieces. There are many things that I make that are priced for broader consumption.
No,
You asked for my two proudest achievements. And for those, I must confess, I have to charge a premium cost.
What other items do you charge at a more, how did you phrase it, consumable price?
Why, yes. I have all of these. There are several cloaks. He points to the one that Arkmir is standing in front of. Clanko's chimeric cape. You wear it. You imagine what cape you want to be wearing, and it transforms for the measly price of 75 gold pieces.
Ooh.
Oh,
Fashionable.
okay. Well, you might know, but I'm quite the inventor myself, and I like.
I can tell.
Okay.
He looks you up and down.
I like to dabble in fun little mundane-looking objects that might have a little hassa to it.
Hmm. There's a few things.
Oh.
He points in one of the corners where there's almost like a mannequin. And the first thing you notice is there aren't that many suits of armor in here.
Yeah.
Except like there isn't much in the way of like things that would require heavy metal working. It's more like elegant, but there is one like chest plate almost. And he points towards it and he's like, armor isn't very popular, but nay, I've made sure that no member of the COG, if they were willing to pay for this new piece of chainmail, could ever be called rusty. This is Clanko's clean chainmail. Patented. Will always remain clean, no matter what blood splatters, no matter what dirt or rust comes up it comes in contact with. Clean as crystal.
I'm actually okay with a little bit of dirt and dents. I mean,
very cheap too. Only 25 gold pieces.
No, I'm okay with that. Anything else that's not necessarily armor or
Do you have any weapons?
That's literally what I was going to say. Not necessarily weapons, but my little friend likes weapons.
As you say that, 1 second.
Imagining a wall flips. That's just weapons on it.
Astra. Hoku comes back to you. He's got like a small pendant in his mouth. He's like holding it up to you. It's got like these gears and almost like strange contraptions, and like it's ticking. It's similar. It reminds you in many ways to your compass, and that seems to be why he's brought it. It's much smaller, about like circular, this big amulet, and he like holds it up to you, and like,
Hoku, this is beautiful, buddy. What is it? And I look at Clanko.
That's a one of a kind. I only made one of those.
Hoku's got good taste.
That's called Clanko's Clockwork Charm.
Oh, what's that?
It has a certain quality. It can place a clamp upon chance. It can bend the fates in some ways. Quite rare. I have to admit that is the one piece in my shop that I did not fully construct. Much of the deeper mechanisms of it were things that I found in my workshop already formed in some ways, created.
Interesting.
How much is it?
For Hoku. And
Roll a
I'm
persuasion check.
And
It's
Hoku's giving like a
inconvenient.
really cute look right now.
Roll a persuasion check.
Okay.
Keep in mind the inconvenience.
17.
If we can establish a continued relationship of no collaboration on any constructions or creations, but more of a customer and client relation, I can part with that for 100 gold pieces.
Okay.
You said you didn't make it though.
I branded it. I named it. It's called Clanko's Clockwork Charm.
I know, but I don't know. I was kind of thinking.
Astra, I got this.
Oh, that's okay.
Nope.
That's okay, Big.
Let me try. And I'll look at Arkmir. We will take it for 99 gold pieces.
Mm. Oh,
I'm glad we converged to a cost that you can agree on.
And add that to the items that I've already asked for.
Certainly.
wait.
You all smell like a waft of like freshly brewed coffee coming from the back corner of the bar where
Ooh.
Seabot 1000 6 cups. He like gives a thumbs up to the back. And the Seabot 1000 lifts up his thumb. And you can see him brewing 6 cups of coffee.
So I've that's 3 things that I'll be taking so far. Is there anything that you, by just looking at me, a fellow inventor, little on the cheaper side for now? I would be more than happy to buy some of these wonderful contraptions at some point when I acquire more coin. But is there anything that you might be able to provide for myself or my friend? I'll point to Calthier or my friend over here.
Roll a d20, and those are the last time you get to do it.
Oh shit. That is a 17.
Well, it's not cheap,
Oh.
but I can tell you about this.
Okay.
Especially because you mentioned it was for the pair of you.
Sure.
I have here 2 rings. He holds them up, or he grabs them from under the counter and holds them up.
And you see the big one lift his hand and he has rings all on every finger.
I call these Clanko's circles of collaborative convulsion.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my God.
What?
Clanko's circle of collaborative convulsion.
Got it.
I love coming up with the name.
What was the very last word?
Convulsion.
Convulsion?
Whoa. Another tongue twister, but
He holds them up and says, the bearers of these rings can choose to share any harm that comes to them. Split it, separate it in some ways.
oh wow.
They are quite valuable and quite rare, and I have to sell them as a pair. I rhymed.
Oh, that was a good one. I'll give you 99 gold for them.
Good one.
They cost about 1,000 gold for the pair.
You just said 100.
I heard 100.
I
Said
can maybe
100,000.
do 600 gold for the pair, but even that is a bit big discount. If you're looking for something cheaper, I do have my latest cheap line of product. It's called these Clanko's conversing cards. He like pulls out like a pack, like a sheaf of paper almost.
Oh wow, what are those?
Puts them on the table.
I recognize that.
Of course.
That's the little bird message that I sent to you with all the very thorough details about
Oh
meeting us here
wow.
today.
How much are those? I don't know what that is, but it sounds like really cool.
I'll give them to you for 30 gold each, or 6 for about 100 gold.
Is it individual paper?
It's individual pieces, like cards of paper.
So Mr. Clanko, I'm kind of new at this. We seem to, and I'll look back at Arkmir. I am buying a bundle of items and feel as though you owe me a discount. Please, sir.
Roll a persuasion check with disadvantage.
There it is.
Oh, that's good. One more. It's the same number. What was it? Persuasion?
That's
Yeah.
+1. That's 16. I rolled 2 15s.
He kind of like sighs and looks back at you. I confess, there has been a drought of customers as of late.
Oh,
I can potentially cover some of the cost on top of manufacturing, but it won't be a very sizable discount, especially not if you choose to buy those rings. I've already cut off a steep price on those.
perhaps we come back for the rings and maintain that connection with the
Oh,
customer.
certainly. And you said you were looking for some parts for a creation of yours.
Yes.
That we can talk about that further. I'm constantly working on new creations. You know, anytime you feel like shopping, come on by to Clanko's curated collection. Yes, miss.
Mr. Clanko, speaking of rings, I remember reading about either like rings or jewelry that can actually store spells within them. You know, for those who are not able to do so many spells in a day, you can just kind of store one in there, and then whenever you want to use it, you can use it. Do you have anything like that?
There are products like that, but much of the resources that can go into those were required to complete my contraption of channeling chaos. He like points towards it.
Ah,
Um, apologies. I'll see if I can. Um, I'll see if I can make that change in the future.
okay.
Might be a challenge.
No, not for you though.
He like raises his metal hand and like waves it towards you. And it's still very odd to you all that this metal construct is acting like a human in all ways, shapes and forms.
So, Mr. Clanko, I believe there's 4 items that I'm looking to purchase.
He
You and
bought 1,000 wheels up with a tray, and it's just carrying like
Four
6
item?
cups of coffee on it.
oh,
Big one. Perhaps wait a bit until we finish so that we may negotiate the total price.
is that something that we should do? Oh. On second thought, I would like a cup of this coffee.
Eh. As you take those, he also like kind of leans over the counter, grabs one, just starts sipping, and the lights in this entire place seem to change as his like circuits come online. Almost, he's sipping the coffee like a normal, like human being. Drinking the
Impressive.
coffee, and the lights seem to be like the music seems to pick up a little bit. The lights grow a little bit brighter, moving a little bit faster.
Astra, where does the coffee go?
You know, is it like little one where it's just? Do you think it just kind of like sloshes around in there forever?
I don't know. Have you ever seen one of these?
Never. No. Do you think? Do you think he has a butthole? I dare you to ask him.
I, Mr. Clanko,
Here we go.
uh, I'm sorry. I'm just curious. I don't think I've seen one quite like you where I'm from. Where does the coffee go? Are you a machine?
he laughs and says, eh, certainly a valid question. It goes where all food goes. Um, it the inside, and it burns and is consumed as part of fuel. It brings me great comfort. It fires up my circuits momentarily. After last night, I could quite need it. It was definitely one of the most entertaining and fun nights that I have had. Had a little bit of a soiree going on here in the shop. for our most valued customers.
Missed opportunity.
Really?
Oh no.
Our
Damn it.
our group name's actually the Soiree.
You had your chance, man.
I didn't think of it until after last episode.
Had your
I
chance,
like
man.
how you're like, I still think that soiree would have been.
Yeah.
That's the first time we've heard of it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys already signed it with the frickin' Iron Will. It's too late.
Do you consume all of it, or there's byproduct that comes out?
Any excrement.
It consumes all of it.
Just like the little one.
Interesting.
And
I pull
to be quite fair, I don't completely need it. I can survive without any sort of fuel or food for quite a long time, possibly forever. To be honest, I haven't tried because I rather enjoy the taste and the effect that it has on my circuits. He takes another deep sip of it.
Much like ale to me.
Mm.
Speaking about that, 2 questions for you: weapons, and do you have a brewer's kit?
I already got you a brewer's kit.
I already
That
made you a
one was-
brewer's kit.
That one's a bit small, lass.
Your first question, not really. Most of our products are very heavily constructed out of electro steel. Not the best for hitting things, but tends to bend.
I
Not.
got the sense of that.
We've tried several things, sort of, to clamp it, to enhance it, to make it better. Probably a few blacksmiths over in Ward 3 that can maybe help with the weapons and armor front. We deal more with the contraptions, curiosities, creations of enchantment, conjuration, that sort of thing.
Do you have anything like, I don't know, a set, some kind of contraption that can prevent passage or slow someone down? Something like, caltrops or ball bearings or something that we can essentially obstruct passage.
I think if you're looking for unenchanted things, there are other shops that can perhaps suit your that can perhaps provide you with a good compromise.
Are you telling me that you don't have anything enchanted like that?
I have several things enchanted that could be used for that purpose. They might be a bit expensive. I have here this pouch, and he reaches under again, and now he actually is someone at the counter. The big one, you were at the counter, right?
Mhm.
You notice that when he reaches under the counter, he's not reaching under the counter. He's just pulling things out of thin air. He pulls
Oh.
out a pouch. He puts it down. This is Clanko's choking cinders. Sort of like a powder that you can toss in someone's face and make them have a really bad time. There are several things that are of this nature, but nothing, you know, nothing explicit. We don't like to get involved in the business of killing people. Aside from the combustive cylinder, that one was a little bit
An experiment.
a pet project. Yes. I confess the cog would not be very happy to know that I had created that.
All right. I heard my friend say you have projectiles, bullets.
Yes. Yes, as a matter of fact, I do.
How much are those?
He says, I only have about 40. And I think I can part with all of them for 200 gold pieces.
Wow, those are expensive.
They are quite expensive.
Is there anything
what are they?
special
Yeah.
about them?
They're +1 bullets.
What does that mean?
They're enchanted. They change your damage to magic damage,
Oh,
and
I
you get
see.
a +1 to attack and damage rolls with them. They are +1 bullets.
Oh, +1 to attack and +1
To
damage?
with them.
Ooh. What's their name? Clanko's magic bullets or something?
More like Clanko's conjure chambers. But I'm workshopping that too. To be honest, I didn't make those either. I acquired them in a trade of sorts. I sold someone something, and they returned. In return, provided me with those as part of the barter. Also, I am open to bartering. That is certainly those cards are certainly on the table.
Oh, maybe I should barter this iron axe that I have.
Wait, big one. Perhaps, and I say this in a hushed tone, perhaps let Arkmir do a little bit of the bartering?
I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job. I got a discount on one of the items already.
You're
The
doing
one
well,
gold?
but
Oh,
I think Arkmir might have a little bit more experience.
oh. I see.
I want some of those bullets, and if possible, I would like to get that potion, but I really feel like that the fuck's it called? That container would be a good acquisition for our group.
It seems a bit pricey right now.
But if we come together and we negotiate,
Well, you
It's
see,
what, 500?
the items that I requested were actually gifts for you guys. So, I wanted to negotiate this myself.
oh, by all means, then you go ahead.
But for the other items, I can probably spare some extra coin as well if we feel like they'd be a good addition for the group.
So is this a conversation we're just having in the huddle, or is this like?
Well,
I
Timon's
assume that you kinda
probably
walked away from,
whispering.
like,
I'm
a
whispering.
I assume you've kind of like gotten away and like
Sure,
are looking
yeah.
at different things on the
Yeah.
shelves. This Clanko's like just having his coffee while sitting on the back, and
Yeah.
now he's like Cbot 2000 has wheeled over like a proper sitting chair instead of a stool. And he's like just sitting down in the back over there with his legs crossed, drinking a cup of coffee with his eyes closed.
Thanks, Big Bud.
What? Oh,
I've been here the whole time.
oh,
You're talking very loudly. You think you're quiet. You're not quiet.
oh. Perhaps Arkmir can teach me to do that too someday. Let me just get these items, and then the other items we can potentially discuss in a minute. I consider it a gift from my father and I.
Thank you.
So I'll go back to Clanko, and I would like to purchase.
And I would like to see if we can come to an agreement on the amount.
For the cloak, the 75 gold cloak.
Yep.
For the charm thing that Hoku found. For a vial of that ink concealer and makeup kit. And sorry, can you repeat what was it, like 6 cards for 100 and
It's 6 cards for 100 or 30 for each. So if you want just one.
Okay, so without the
like
cards, without the cards, what are we at for the cloak, the charm, and the vial of the ink stuff?
The
With
cloak, the
maybe a
charm, and
discount.
the vial of the ink stuff. That is. So that comes to about 225, and then make a persuasion check.
Oh, I only get +1 of these. Natural 20!
Oh man,
21! Let's go!
It's a proud moment.
Arkmir, did you say this?
As you like tell him that like, okay, these are the things you want, he looks up at you and says,
They're
"You know,
gifts
most
for
of
my
you
friends.
artificers, you create most of your things, so I don't tend to sell much to your kind. I'm gonna be honest. It's one of the first times that an artificer has come into this shop. I'm impressed by your arm. And he like looks at it and like
Oh,
points towards it. Is that your own creation?
it's not. It's actually my father, Mr. Sparkeye's creation.
Yeah. So, he's famous. He's known around town. I'll tell you what. For this time, I've had a very pleasant interaction. This coffee is amazing. Great job, Cbot 1000.
Oh, it's very
Um,
wonderful.
Let's go with I'll go with 150 for this whole set. 150 gold.
For all the items I asked for?
Big one.
Yeah. You asked for the charm, the concealer, and the cloak, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Not the papers.
Not the
Yeah.
papers yet.
Yep.
I will take 3 pieces of those paper, and can we say 200 for it all?
2 pieces, 200. We'll call it even.
Oh, that seems very fair.
All right.
Do you have any apples?
No, they're not enchanted.
That was just for
I
me.
could
That's
conjure
okay.
some for you.
No,
need.
no, that's
Hey.
okay. That's okay. Do you
Big
ha-
one,
do you
have one
have
of mine.
do you have? Oh, thank you.
And you just see my trunk come and grab it. And as I'm talking, I'll just eat it. And
No.
If you can like put it in like a little like a gift bag,
Certainly.
That would be nice.
And he like reaches down and actually he's like
individual bags.
C2000 bags. We got the bags, and C2000 kind of wheels off into the back room, and
nice.
he actually will like wheels up, takes the cushion with all the things on it, and wheels off into the back.
Hell yeah. And I will pass him 200 gold.
He pockets it. Cheers.
Thank you very much. You're far too kind. Harkmere, I did it. But I can't tell you what I got just yet.
What are the rest of you doing now? As you wait for the Cbot 2000 to come back with gift bags.
Clanko. And as these guys are kind of like off doing their own thing, I just want to kind of scooch over, like,
Yes.
somewhat quietly. I feel like this isn't going to be a today purchase, but just wondering if you had anything along the lines of a broom of flying.
Just how you said that. A broom of flying.
I can't say I do. Interesting thought though. But why exactly a broom? It could be any contraption, any creation. Could be a cape of flying. Could be clogs of flying.
Why not a broom? It's just
Can't
something
quite
like
come up with a marketable brand name for it.
Clanko's broom of flying.
See, it just doesn't roll off the tongue.
There's not enough C's
Clanko.
in it.
Correct.
Clanko's,
Certainly needs more C's.
Clanko's curiously cleaning contraption that also flies.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
I'll consider it.
Mhm. And I'm
Is there
low-
anything I can help you with? Any of these products strike your fancy?
Hmm?
Yes, yeah.
Oh.
And I'm sorry, I'm so rude. You all know my name. I am not even introduced to all of you. Who are you all?
Oh, well, and I just sit back and I wait for Arkmere to go first.
Stroll up. I'm Arkmere Croft, and we are the Iron Will.
Clanko the Conjurer, at your service.
Oh,
Yes, miss.
Astra Maris, but you can call me Astra. And this is
Astra.
Oku.
Charmed. Charmed to meet you two, little pseudo dragon.
Diamond Ironbeard. Well met.
Well met. Well met.
My name's the Big One. It is charmed me to meet you.
I have certainly heard of you now that I come to think of it.
Oh,
The big one. Pleasure. And you,
So actually, I was not like I'm not like standing over, just like with the group waiting. Like I've just been walking around, just looking at stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm like not actually like right there. Like I'd be probably at the other end of this. I don't know how big the store is, but I'm
It's
like,
fairly big. There's a lot of cabinets and shelves and
"N-
stuff. You would probably be closer to like the coffee bar,
sure."
basically.
But I hear all this going on, so
Yes.
like, but I don't know if he's actually like talking at me right now or not.
I think
Our,
he's like looking over to you.
our friend over there is called Galtier.
Culture. Pleasure. Well, I cherish this opportunity to have made your acquaintance. And Seabot 2000 at this point kind of wheels out with these bags. Let's cut over to Calter. But what would you have been doing?
Um, I'm mostly just looking around, like, uh, seeing what all's there based on like kind of the stuff that he's talking about, just seeing what weird contraptions he's made. I'm not particularly asking about anything. I am looking to see if anything, I doubt it, but I'm looking to see if there is anything that um, has a not like an emphasis, but a maybe a moon design anywhere on it that like features that.
You don't really see anything with like any designs like that carved into it. Yeah, there's nothing that really catches your eye. There's a lot of like strange arcane runes on a lot of things, but nothing that's like overtly like moon symbology.
Okay. Um, that's fine. I wasn't like particularly looking for anything specific or even hoping. I was just looking around to see if anything, see if there was that, just more out of curiosity than like need for
Yeah,
something or want.
there isn't anything that immediately catches your eye.
Yep, that's all I'm doing though. Not asking for anything.
Yes, Arkmir?
Um, Clanko, you mentioned this Chimera kit. Would you mind describing it again?
I already
How does
bought it.
Oh,
In case you didn't catch
thank
that,
you.
Yeah,
I
you
did
would have
not.
seen like the bot kind of take it off of the shelf and like wrap it up and go back. And at this point, comes out and wheels out
Oh.
with these bags, and he gives the bags, and each of the bags has like a bunch of C's that are just
Oh.
like labeled on top of each other. It's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like
Mm.
C's is their logo.
Thank you so much, Mr. Is it 2000 or 3000?
2000.
Thank you. See,
3000 is at this point is just kind of standing behind the counter sheepishly because Clanko's kind of replaced his job.
thank you, Mr. 2000. I will do this when we're outside.
On that note, then, would you be able to help me identify a couple of items? I was
Hmm.
thinking I may not
Certainly.
need them.
Certainly.
And I'm just gonna pull out, I guess, a single. Well, actually, just a single gem,
Mhm.
and present that to Clanko.
He like looks at it, and you actually see his eyes that are purple change to like one of the eyes changes to like a darker shade of blue almost.
so cool.
He looks at it. Not magical. Seem to be worth. I'll give you probably like 25 or 30 gold for each of these. For one of these, roughly.
Okay. How many do I
Very
have?
well cut. He like
8.
looks up. Not gonna lie, I kind of want to eat one. Puts it back down.
say 25 to 30. Let's see, 30 for 8, and have yourself a deal.
Make a
Well, sorry.
persuasion
30 for.
check. Make a persuasion check.
They're each a gold and a half.
30. Make sure I'm persuading for the right thing here. 17 plus 6, 23.
That's
Oh.
how my boy does it.
And
Those
then I'll
tack-
add in. I can add in 6 if needed, but it's 23.
You don't need it. Sure, we'll discuss it in exchange in comparison with the whole sort of like trade. So you have how many of these do you have? You said
I've got 8 of them.
8 of them. So 8 times 30. That's about what?
240.
Yeah, let's put that down here as being worth 240, and then
Ooh.
we'll see what you want. If there's anything you want to buy, or if you're just looking to sell these. I'm gonna be honest. I'm still leaning more towards giving you the 25 because I'm not a jeweler. I don't really have much use for these. I'm just going to go and resell these to a jeweler, maybe for a profit.
He wants you to trade.
Ooh. Well, yeah, maybe you're right. I will hold on to these, but it was good to get a value, baseline value from here. Thank you.
Anything for a customer.
Third, Mr. Clanko, are you familiar with Miss Halfstep, Harriet?
Who isn't?
We are under her employ for a job, and
A commission of sorts.
yes, one of our discussions about this job is that we might need some materials. So I am wondering if she has some sort of a tab with your store in case we need.
Do you have any
certain
paperwork
things.
to prove this claim?
Not yet. But once we do,
I'm mostly joking. Miss Halfstep doesn't really come here. Most of the artificers don't tend to be honest.
all right.
But I'm sure if you had something in writing, sort of line of credit. That's a good word. I like credit. Um, we could potentially make something work.
All right. Thank you. I want to kind of go back to the group and bring whoever's around together and ask, well, is there anything that should we combine our coin to get? Is there any one of
Like
these
the
items?
Diamond started speaking in C's as well.
Combine our coin? Is there a Clanko contraption that we need to combine our coin to acquire?
If I'm not mistaken, Miss Halfstep mentioned that her secretary might be able to give us some supplies or a stipend that we can spend at some of the other general stores. Mr. Clanko mentioned that there's potentially other potion stores and non-enchanted items, but if there's anything here that might spark your interest.
Did we get the bag of holding?
No.
I feel like we should.
How much was it
And
again?
500
was
gold.
500 gold.
But I could also cast my thing.
Keep in mind, as a player note, that this is a very magical store and a very magical arcanist behind the table. He might not like that. Just as a
Also, you have no way of knowing if that spell hasn't already been cast on these items.
It's true too.
Oh my god.
He does seem like a shady little creature.
Yeah, my complete shit.
Just leave the shop.
Can we test? Okay, we should test it out first. If we are going to consider buying it, we should test it. I think we should get bag that holds all the things.
It's a Clanko's container of countless collateral. Is the word you're looking for?
Yep. I think we should get the bag. We're gonna
I
be,
agree. I
but
think
we
that
should.
can be useful.
Yep. Think of all the I don't know, ale you could probably put in there. Potatoes. I could store all the peaches for Hoku. Calthier could put his yarn in there. Arkmir, he could put all of his cloaks, or not his cloaks, his coats in there. Big one, his apples.
Oh, I carry everything in my, and I pull aside my giant ass bag that I carry. Everything fits in here quite well for me, but if you folks like it.
But you said you were also looking for a tea set, so.
Well, I
maybe
have a tea set.
Yes.
I was looking specifically for tea.
Okay, well, this could probably hold a lot of tea. Imagine
I
all the tea you could think of.
all the weapons I could carry in there.
Yes.
They tend to be a bit heavy.
Exactly. But in
Depends
there,
how big it is.
I assume it would be as light as a feather. I assume. But
It depends what kind of bag it is.
Well, Lass, you had me at feather.
that was like
I
the
have-
last thing I said.
I have about 150 gold that I can contribute.
I have 180. Clanko, Mr. Clanko.
You turn around and you can already see that the first thing you notice is that a small disco ball has come down from above him. It's just glowing all sorts of different lights, and he's just currently looking up at it, and he's got these shades on now.
This
Just
guy's
looking
a
up at it.
baller bitch.
And he
Oh.
turns around and he looks at you. His the lights, the different colored lights, glinting off of the metal of his skull. Yes.
Oh,
You've made money.
this looks fun. That bag that you mentioned that holds a lot of things.
Yes, the container of countless collateral.
Yeah, I kind of thinking about it. I not so sure though. I don't know. I was really looking forward to potentially purchasing a broom that flies, and one of those rings that also can store spells, but a little bit not disappointed. Your store is amazing.
Disappointed?
I'm a huge fan.
I couldn't find anything.
Well, we are open to commissions. If there's anything specific that you're looking for, certainly you can put in a request. We can work on it over the next week or so, potentially get it to you. Can't say anything about the broom. I'm not gonna lie, just doesn't jive well with me as a product. But
Okay.
those rings of storing or any of those small orbs, I have heard these things like pearls that you could potentially store spells into, gems that you can store spells into. We can make something like that work, but I need to know in it. You'll need to pay at least half of the cost in advance, and I need to know exactly how much your budget is for a project like this, because it would be a special commission.
Mhm.
Um,
And here's the thing. So I'm definitely interested in that. And it sounds like we're going to be coming here quite a lot and using and you know using your business for most of our needs. Um, Especially you mentioned that artificers don't often come into here, but I don't know, big one. Like you know the big one. He's very well known. He's a big artificer, no pun intended. And he may open more artificers to be coming here and giving you their business. What I'm trying
Indeed,
to say
and
is
I gave him a fair discount for that
absolutely,
exact
and
reason.
that was very kind of you. But what I'm trying to say is that
Certainly.
we're likely going to be buying a lot of different items. So we're going to need a way to store the items, or else we're not going to be able to buy more items because we're not going to have a place to put them. So that's kind of the conundrum that we're in.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I think that bag that you were talking about, that could be really useful so we could buy more of your stuff. However, 500 gold, that's a little steep for us.
Well, how much can you compensate with? Let's arrive at a compromise.
Okay. I will give you 5 gold. No, I'm just kidding. 250.
Do not insult the man.
And you know that we're gonna come back and fill up that bag.
Roll a persuasion check.
Uh-oh.
I mean, am I helping at all?
Please.
Are you saying something to help?
Yeah, how disappointed I was in all the
That was
like,
just a
lack
one
of
line.
items.
Yeah, that was like a one line thing. He almost like brushed it off at that point.
No help.
I
Unless you want to say like help this argument somehow.
oh fuck. Uh, I mean, Mr. Clanko, you mentioned how short in shoppers you were. Look at us. We are here spending a lot of coin.
Correct.
Our purses are gonna go out empty in this place, but you know, like I think we're only asking for a gesture of goodwill. You're talking about establishing a relationship with you. We are much more inclined to do that if we are not coming out of here feeling like we didn't get a fair deal.
I will consider that. And you can roll with advantage.
Oh, thank God. Okay. So I rolled a 3.
May have worked.
Okay, 18.
Yes.
350, and I will make a small tweak to the product.
Ooh.
Those are my terms.
What is the tweak?
I would like to uphold your bargain of, being valid customers and, enthusiasts of the brand. I'm going to put my logo in bright, um, flashing, magically enchanted letters upon the lid, so that everybody who anywhere may know that this product was purchased from Clanko's curated collection of curiosities and contraptions.
One condition on that, Mr. Clanko. If we need to go to a
Incognito.
if we need to go to a place where we don't want to catch anybody's attention, we need to be able to conceal it.
I'll see what I can do.
Sounds fair to me. Last?
Yeah. But can we? I think it would be a good idea for us to just kind of get an idea of how well our stuff fits into it currently. Give us an idea of how much more room we have. So maybe we can put some of our things in it now and just kind of see how that looks.
Sorry, I can't really allow that. You see, the nature of these things is once you put something in order to pull it out, you have to know exactly what you're pulling out. And if you were to put things in and then leave, I wouldn't necessarily be able to pull things out because I wouldn't know what's in there. You'll have to take my word for it. I'm a man of some reputation in the city. This shop, if I was selling, not functional products, wouldn't have been open for this long and been this well established, if I do say so myself. This collection speaks for itself. He seems actually a little bit offended and turning a little bit Italian.
Yeah, he's
Okay, well, I'm insight checking that whole just spiel that he did.
Make an insight check.
Oh, double that. 24.
I'll send you a message.
I telepathically speak to Tymond. What do you think? Do we go for it? Does he seem shady? I don't know. Like it seems like a bit of a steal, but is this thing gonna work? Not blink once for yes to all of that, blink twice for I'm confused. We will take it.
Oh, I will have to ask that you pick it up tomorrow, and you can pay for me tomorrow. Pay for it tomorrow as well. I need to make sure that this branding enchantment is set in place properly.
Mr. Clanko, how much for not having the branding on there?
400 gold.
I think that's a better deal.
I
Hey,
mean,
Arkmir.
even without the branding,
Wealthy.
you can certainly put out a good word for me. I would appreciate it regardless, but I can understand how having this enchantment could be an inconvenience.
So if we're putting a good word, 360. Last
400.
offer.
400.
380.
400 is final offer.
Last offer.
Anyways, is there anything else that I can help you guys with? As DM, it is running a bit late, and I do want to wrap up the session. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
player talk.
Just
I
this
don't have
list,
enough money, so
Yeah,
You guys
we'll have
have
to
all of
put
the
this
items.
together.
Yeah, I'll give you guys like between sessions. You can figure out what exactly you want to buy, and we can come back to this and pick up the start of the next section next week from here and wrap up these purchases. But you already like Big One. You have all the things that you wanted to buy, and yep, we can continue from there.
Oh yeah.
Apologies for kind of not ending on like a good note or a cliffhanger.
Goddamn C words.
Whoa.
Anyways, see you next time. in the
Oh,
Alto.
stop. Terrible.
Bye.